So good evening everyone. Today we are going to begin with Akali movement, right? And what was the last topic that we discussed? Passive phase अभी नहीं हुआ है ना? या हो गया? खिलाफत मूवमेंट हो गया ना? Right. So the next that we have is Akali movement, and in the Akali movement, basically, what was the movement? Why it is called Akali movement? It is called Akali movement because a political party, it later became a political party, but an organization was set up called Akali Dal, and that's why it came to be known as like Akali movement, right? उस तरीके से हम देख सकते हैं इसको. Second component is that what was this movement, right? So the movement was for getting the control of Gurdwaras. So the next question comes, control to whom? Answer is to the people of Punjab, right? That means the representatives of the people of Punjab, they should control the Gurdwaras. Next question comes, so right now the Gurdwaras, they were with whom? Answer to that question is, it was with Udasi Sikh Mahants, right? Who are Udasi Sikh Mahants? So traditionally, so they are the ones who did not keep the 5Ks, who did not keep their long hair, right? And they are like Brahmins, Pandits are there in the temple. Similarly, these Udasi Sikh Mahants, they were there in the Gurdwaras, right? So what is the problem? Why should one be taking these Gurdwaras from the control of the Udasi Sikh Mahants to the people? The problem was that Udasi Sikh Mahants were pro-British and they were also corrupt. And since the society of Punjab was deeply religious, so therefore it was a positive for the Britishers that if the Udasi Sikh Mahants who control the temples, if they are with us, then in time of need they can do something pro-British, right? And in exchange we can allow them to be corrupt, to continue their corruption. And how are they doing corruption? When people are giving chanda, when people are donating money to the temples, that is to the Gurdwaras, then they are basically, that's how they are controlling the money of the Gurdwaras, and that's how they are corrupt, right? So how did was there any example where these Udasi Sikh Mahants, they acted pro-British? So answer is yes. For example, when the Ghadar movement took place from 1913 to 1915, so these Udasi Sikh Mahants, they asked the people of Punjab to ignore the Ghadarites, that the Ghadarites, they are misguided. Then when Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place, right, so at that particular point of time, to give a pro-British kind of like a line, they decorated General Dyer. So they invited him to Golden Temple and they decorated him, they honored him, right? And this also became the trigger for the Akali movement. Why? Because Jallianwala Bagh massacre created huge resentment among the people of Punjab. And when these Udasi Sikh Mahants who are corrupt, who are pro-British, and now they are decorating General Dyer, so therefore this triggered the Akali movement. And this movement, it began in 1920, right? So what is the importance of this particular movement? Why we are studying this? The importance of this particular movement is, अच्छा, एक result बताते हैं. At the end, the Akalis, they were able to take control of Gurdwaras. How did they take control of Gurdwaras? So they set up an organization in which elections will take place, and people of Punjab, that is a Sikh community, it will vote. And name of that organization was Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee. Committee means organization. Prabandhak Committee. Prabandhan means management, right? So Gurdwara. So Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhan ya Prabandhak Committee, SGPC. So for the management of the Gurdwaras. So the name itself tells that the organization has been set up for the management of Gurdwaras, right? And the Britishers, they passed an act which gave the control of the Gurdwaras to the SGPC, which is an elected body of the Sikh. So they like that is the result. Next question, which is the most important question, that why we are studying this Akali movement, what is the benefit or what is the importance of this Akali movement, right, in the modern Indian history. The importance is that till now the society of Punjab, that means the people of Punjab, they were not part of Indian national movement. That is, they were not, yes, Lala Lajpat Rai was there as an extremist from Punjab, but otherwise largely the majority of the people of Punjab, they were not into the Indian national movement, they were not participating in the different movements, etc., etc., right? And after this Akali movement, these people, they became nationalistic, these people, they became anti-British. The common man of Punjab became anti-British, right? How did they become anti-British? Because when the Akalis, they started the movement that we want control of Gurdwaras, so at this particular point of time, the Britishers, they supported the Udasi Sikh Mahants. right? They allowed the Udasi Sikh Mahants to even hire private armies and to fire upon the Akalis when they started this protest for getting the control of Gurdwaras. So because the Britishers, they are acting pro-British, as a result, the people of Punjab, they are becoming anti-British, right? Next point, why the people of Punjab are able to become anti-British, or they are able to become what you call as nationalistic. Two aspects are there. One aspect is that in the year 1921, a tragedy took place called Nankana tragedy. Nankana Gurdwara was there, and the Udasi Sikh Mahant, he used his private mercenaries, that is hired gunmen, and hundreds of Akalis were killed when they were trying to enter the Gurdwara. But ultimately they were able to enter and they were able to take control of the Gurdwara. But after this particular movement, after this particular event, the anger against the British, it increased a lot, and the Akalis, they declared that we are part of non-cooperation movement, which was already on since 1920. Right? And they said that our goal is also Swaraj, and our methods are also of non-cooperation, that is Gandhian methods. Right? So this is how, because of a religious movement, and this is also a very live example that how religion played a very positive role also. And communalism, creation of Pakistan, that is the negative aspect of religion. But Akali movement is an example where religion is playing a positive role. It is converting the society of Punjab into what you call as anti-British, and into, it is bringing it into INM. Why? What will happen? As soon as you declare that our goal is Swaraj, so therefore the common Punjabi man would ask, Ji ki onda Swaraj? What is Swaraj? Right? So therefore what Home Rule League movement will try to do, in this movement also, the leaders, they will be telling the people of Punjab that this is what is Swaraj, this is why we should support Gandhi, this is why we should support Indian National Congress, this is why we should oppose the Britishers, right? So this kind of scenario will be taking place, right? So you see what happened, that because the Punjabi society was deeply religious, therefore when the issue was of Gurdwaras, they were ready to come out of their houses. They might not be ready to come out of their houses just because of Swaraj, but क्योंकि मुद्दा religion था, because the issue was religion, so therefore religion provided them the energy, right? Why? Because they are deeply religious. The issue of Gurdwara is very close to their heart, right? So for the issue of Gurdwara, they are ready to come out on the streets. So because of religion, they came out on the streets, and once they came out to the streets, then they were told that you should also raise the slogan of Swaraj, that you should also speak anti-British slogans, that you should also do boycott. Right? So therefore this is how, because of religion, they came out of their homes, right? But, and because they came out in large numbers, and then the Akali movement merged into the non-cooperation movement, so therefore their minds started changing. And leadership, कौन provide करेगा? Leadership will be provided by the middle class. Leadership will not be elite leadership. Elites, they are with the British. Right? So therefore, till now, the Punjabi society was under the hold of these Udasi Sikh Mahants and other Maharajas, Rajas. If you remember Indian Councils Act 1861, Maharaja of Patiala was made member of council. So these Rajas, these big Zamidars, these Udasi Sikh Mahants, they were pro-British because they had benefited from the British rule. चाहे वो बंगाल में permanent settlement हो, चाहे otherwise हो. So therefore, money lenders and Zamidars and Rajas are able to continue as 565 princely states. Right? Whenever the people, they are demanding democracy, the Britishers, because they have ensured that law and order, it is going to be their responsibility. So therefore, the Raja, he can prevent democracy, and the Britishers, they will use their army to use a stick against the people who are demanding democracy against the Indian Raja in any of the princely state. Right? So therefore, these princes, big Zamidars, money lenders, Udasi Sikh Mahants, these kind of sections of the society, they were pro-British because they had benefited from the British rule. Right? But now their leadership is ending, and Akalis, they are taking up the leadership of the Punjabi society. So therefore, this is the importance of Akali movement, that Punjab is becoming part of INM. And Hindus and Muslims, they also supported the Sikh in this Akali movement. So therefore, Khilafat movement, non-cooperation movement, that created like the Hindu-Muslim unity. But in the case of Akali movement, you also see in Punjab, Hindu-Muslim-Sikh unity. Right? Because Hindus and Muslims, they also supported, they also participated, right? So therefore, this is how, these are the positive elements. So that's why we are studying this Akali movement, right? And you basically ask the question that how from 1920 onwards, different sections of the Indian society, they became part of Indian national movement. Alag-alag tarike se, ye question multiple times, it has been asked by UPSC. So therefore, how did Punjab become part of INM? Through the Akali movement. So you will donate one paragraph, right? You will mention, simply you will mention what are the key events. Key events you mention that A, because of religion, masses participated, plus In 1921, Akali movement merged into INM because it supported the non-cooperation movement and adopted goals and methods of non-cooperation movement. Plus, as a result, finally the Punjabi society became anti-British and became part of Indian national movement. राइट इतनी सारी जो बातें मैंने करी, अगर आपको एक ऐसा बहुत बड़ा आंसर है तो उसके अंदर इफ यू हैव टू डोनेट जस्ट लाइक 1.5 लाइन और 2 लाइन्स, सो देयरफॉर थ्रू दीज 3 एलिमेंट्स यू कैन क्राफ्ट अ सेंटेंस एंड यू कैन गेट डन अवे विद इट, राइट. सो देयरफॉर ऐसा है, राइट. सो राइट डाउन अकाली मूवमेंट 1920-25, अकाली मूवमेंट 1920-25. फर्स्ट सब पॉइंट, अकाली मूवमेंट. Sandeep is asking why Lala Lajpat Rai is also known as Punjab Kesari. It's on because he was a great leader. He is also known as Sher Punjab, है ना? तो ऐसा. So write down goal is equal to take control of Gurdwaras. Goal is equal to take control of Gurdwaras. Goal is equal to take control of Gurdwaras from Udasi Sikh Mahants. From Udasi Sikh Mahants. Take control of Gurdwaras from Udasi Sikh Mahants who were corrupt and pro-British. Who were corrupt and pro-British. Who were corrupt and pro-British. Example opposed Ghadarites. Example opposed Ghadarites. Who were corrupt and pro-British. Example opposed Ghadarites. Ghadar movement 1913-15. Next point, trigger is equal to trigger is equal to trigger is equal to they decorated trigger is equal to they decorated General Dyer, D-Y-E-R, they decorated General Dyer, D-Y-E-R, after Jallianwala Bagh, after Jallianwala Bagh, April 1919. They decorated General Dyer after Jallianwala Bagh, April 1919. Next point. Events. Next point, events. Events dash. 1921 dash. 1921 dash. 1921 dash. After Nankana tragedy. After Nankana tragedy. Nankana. Nankana. After Nankana tragedy, where hundreds of Akalis were killed. After Nankana tragedy, where hundreds of Akalis were killed by private army of Mahant. By private army of Mahant. By private army of Mahant. Of Nankana Gurdwara. By private army of Mahant of Nankana Gurdwara. Comma. Movement merged into NCM. Movement merged into NCM. Movement merged into NCM. That is, supported goals and methods. Movement merged into NCM. That is, supported goals and methods. That is, supported goals and methods of NCM. That is, supported goals and methods of NCM. In brackets 1920-22. Supported goals and methods of NCM in brackets 1920-22 brackets closed. Non-cooperation movement was from 1920-22. Brackets closed. Therefore, Punjabi society became part of INM. Punjabi society became part of INM. Punjabi society became part of INM. Next one, write down result. Result. SGPC results. SGPC, Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee. In the exam you can write down SGPC because it is very famously used. SGPC was given control of Gurdwaras. SGPC was given control of Gurdwaras. SGPC was given control of Gurdwaras under Gurdwara Reform Act 1925. Under Gurdwara Reform Act 1925. Next result. Now educated middle class had leadership. Now educated middle class had leadership of masses in Punjab. Next point. Politicization of Punjab's peasantry. Politicization of Punjab's peasantry. Politicization of Punjab's peasantry. Dash. Since movement was on a religious issue. Since movement was on a religious issue. Since movement was on a religious issue. Therefore masses participated. Therefore masses participated. And then in 1921, it merged with NCM. And then in 1921, it merged with NCM. Amit is asking, sir, what does decorated General Dyer means? It means honoring General Dyer, mala pehnana, samman dena, right? This kind of scenario, so that the people in Punjab who are anti-British, right, and General Dyer is suffering huge amount of negative publicity. So therefore, the people of Punjab, under the influence of the Udasi Sikh months, they should not oppose the British, right? This kind of scenario, right? So, aisa, right? Next point. Akali movement. Therefore strengthened NCM and INM. Akali movement therefore strengthened NCM and INM. Strengthened NCM and INM. Next point. Rural and urban areas, rural and urban masses, ऐसा लग दो, rural and urban masses both participated. Rural and urban masses both participated. Next point. Hindu-Muslim Sikh unity. Hindu-Muslim Sikh unity was witnessed. Hindu-Muslim Sikh unity was witnessed. Hindu-Muslim Sikh unity was witnessed. As Hindus and Muslims supported movement. As Hindus and Muslims supported the movement. Supported the movement. Next point. Movement led to growth of nationalist sentiments. Movement led to growth of nationalist sentiments. Movement led to growth of nationalist sentiments in princely states of Punjab. Princely states of Punjab. In princely states of Punjab, as they were geographically contiguous. As they were geographically contiguous. As they were geographically contiguous. इसका मतलब ये है, सी ओवरऑल देयर आर 565 princely states, राइट. सो ऐसा तो है नहीं दैट 565 princely states they are all together and therefore they are separate, right? So you travel 5 kilometers in Punjab and then you suddenly hit the border of a princely state, right? फिर थोड़ा सा आप लेफ्ट मुड़ जाइए, ठीक है, अगेन यू ट्रैवल 3-4 kilometers, you again hit a boundary of a princely state. So princely states are like, imagine that you have a piece of paper and hold a pen which is a ink pen and ऐसा पचाक ऐसा मार दो, right? So what will happen? The drops, the ink drops, they will be all across the small drops, they will be all across the, these are 565 drops, or these are the 565 princely states which are scattered throughout the territory of India, right? So therefore what happens, imagine that this particular state is a princely state, and princely states at times they were very small also. 565 princely states. Today in the India we have what, 28 or 29 states we have, right? 28 states we have, right? 565, imagine. So not all of them will be very big. Some of them will be, just some square miles, right? Just some square kilometers, right? So imagine this particular state is a princely state of Punjab, right? And ऐसा borders तो porous borders है. Porous माने की मतलब people they can also move, and ideas they can also move. So I am watching that all of you guys, you are participating in this Gurdwara movement, right? Plus you are participating in this non-cooperation movement, right? So I'll be interacting with you. रिश्तेदारी भी होगी, है ना, शादी भी होगी. हंस क्यों रहा है फिर? शादी करनी है तुझे? करनी, सबको करनी है. तूने क्या वो ठेका उठा, तो मैरिज ब्यूरो खोल रखा जा, सबको करनी है, तेरे को डाटा है, राइट? तो रिश्तेदारी भी है, रिलेटिव्स आर आल्सो देयर, राइट? पीपल दे कैन मूव फ्रॉम अ प्रिंसली स्टेट टू द ब्रिटिश इंडिया, फ्रॉम द ब्रिटिश इंडिया टू द प्रिंसली स्टेट. सो अवेयरनेस विल बी देयर कि भाई इतना सब कोहराम क्यों मचा है, व्हाई सो मच ऑफ एक्टिविटी इज टेकिंग प्लेस. सो दे विल आल्सो गेट इंपैक्टेड बाय दीज आइडियाज, एंड देयरफॉर दे विल आल्सो गेट नेशनलिस्ट सेंटिमेंट्स इन देयर माइंड्स, बिकॉज द मूवमेंट इज एंटी ब्रिटिश, है ना? So therefore that's why this particular sentence, that because of geographical contiguity or because they are geographically very close by, plus because there are porous borders, एक और आप लिख सकते हैं geographically contiguous and porous borders, right? तो ऐसा तो है नहीं that there is some Himalayas which are separating the British India and a princely state. People they can easily move around, right? So ऐसा porous borders, right? So because of this ideas etc they travel, and the people of the princely state, they also, their mind also gets nationalistically charged. So this is the meaning. So these are the positives, right? Next write down negatives is equal to masses got religiously charged. Masses got religiously charged. Masses got religiously charged, which later encouraged communalism, which later encouraged communalism. Second negative. So you understand this particular point? So this is the point that we discussed, that why Bal Gangadhar Tilak opposed that, if you are thinking of launching a movement with a religious goal, right? So therefore don't do it, right? So methods and goals. Bal Gangadhar Tilak in the initial phase, he followed religious methods, but he did not give a religious goal. But now you have method is also going to be religious in the case of your Khilafat movement, and goal is going to be religious, which does not pertain to India, right? So when you use religion as a goal and you use religion as a method, so you become very religious. The masses, they become very religiously charged. You'll be shouting slogans, which are like very religious kind of slogans. But right now, so your energy is targeted against the Britishers, right? But movement khatam ho gaya, but masses are now still religious, right? High on religion. So therefore, you never know that when it will become a Hindu versus Sikh versus Muslim issue, right? Why? Because religious energy or religion in the public discourse has taken a center stage, है ना? So ऐसा करके आपने इसमें उसमें भी देखा था, फॉर एग्जाम्पल कल्चरल नेशनलिज्म, अ वेरी बिग पॉजिटिव वाज स्वामी विवेकानंदा, स्वामी दयानंद सरस्वती रेजिंग द प्राइड ऑफ आवर कल्चर, right? That we are Hindus, that we are this ancient civilization is great, our Vedas are great. But then what happens? As soon as the good leaders, they kind of like went away, they died. After that, gradually we see that in 1880s and 1890s, kind of like communal cult, because Hindus, they got religiously charged. So therefore cow protection movement, and then if some news is there that some cows are killed, so therefore it became cow killing riots. And in the cow killing riots, many of the innocent Muslims, they will also be killed, बिकॉज राइट्स में तो राइट्स होते हैं तो उसमें ये थोड़ी है राइट्स अगर हैं, सो इट डज नॉट मैटर वेदर यू आर इनोसेंट और वेदर यू आर गिल्टी ऑफ किलिंग काउस, राइट? राइट्स होते हैं. देयर मेनी ऑफ द इनोसेंट पीपल दे विल आल्सो बी किल्ड, राइट? सो देयरफॉर यू सी वहां पे भी हुआ. खिलाफत मूवमेंट के बाद हमने क्या देखा? मालाबार 1921 religiously charged, and after that communal rights are, मतलब the movement was peasants versus the Hindu zamindars or peasants versus zamindars, but it became Muslim versus Hindu movement. Then earlier we mentioned that from 1922-24 there were communal rights all across India in different parts of India. Why? Because Gandhiji had supported what you call as Khilafat movement. Masses, they are religiously charged, right? So therefore ये sensitive चीजें होती हैं to how to channelize the religious energy into political energy and how to still keep the things secular. This kind of scenario it is there, right? तो वैसा. So anyways, next लिखिए, next second negative. Akalis got split after 1925. Akalis got split after 1925. एक इसका वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री में भी लाइव एग्जांपल है. इशू ऑफ इजराइल. सी द मूवमेंट इन योर मिडिल ईस्ट, इट कुड हैव बीन अ एंटी कॉलोनियल मूवमेंट, राइट, डिवॉइड ऑफ रिलीजन, बट टू स्ट्रीम्स मर्ज्ड. एंटी कॉलोनियलिज्म, colonial powers after World War I, colonial powers, they were France controlled Syria, right? Similarly Britain, it also controlled Iraq, Palestine, Transjordan, etc., right? Egypt was also suffering colonialism, the British and the French. Suez War took place in 1956, right? So issue could have been simply anti-colonialism, right? But two energies merged. It became a Arab issue. It became a Muslim versus British, Muslim versus Christian kind of issue, right? Or Jews versus Muslims kind of issue, right? अब repercussions क्या है? Repercussions आज तक चल रहे हैं. Colonialism तो कब का खत्म हो चुका है, but repercussions they are still on, right? So these are like इस तरीके से. So anyways, Akalis got split post 1925 into, first up point, कीर्ति किसान पार्टी. कीर्ति किसान पार्टी having Gandhians and leftists. Second sub point, अकाली दल. So पहले सिर्फ अकालीज है, अब अकाली मतलब अकाली दल, मतलब it is continuing the name, right? अकाली दल, which had communal elements. अकाली दल which had communal elements. What do you mean by communal elements? For whom belonging to Sikhism or the Sikh, they are the primary beneficiaries of whatever movement that they will begin, right? जरूरी नहीं है, देखो अगर आप डीप में जाते हो तो जरूरी नहीं है दैट कॉम्युनलिज्म, मतलब दिस इज लाइक अ कॉन्ट्रोवर्शियल स्टेटमेंट, बट मैं थोड़ा सा क्वालिफाई करना चाहता हूं. जरूरी नहीं है दैट कॉम्युनलिज्म इज ऑलवेज नेगेटिव. टेक्निकली अगर देखा जाए, इन थियरी अगर देखा जाए, सो व्हाट इज कॉम्युनल पॉलिटिक्स? Communal politics is a politics where your supporters, they belong to a particular religious group, right? Where the methods, they are going to be religious, where the goals may be religious along with political and economic, right? Yes, chances are very high that this kind of politics will become very negative against other religious groups. But अगर हम थियरी वाइज देखते हैं, तो अभी तो कोई जरूरी नहीं है कोई नेगेटिव है, right? So communalism can be, obviously 99% chances are there it will become something negative, but communalism or technically अगर देखा है, communal politics, right, is someone where religion is like a primary thing. Class politics, for example, working class movement, or let's say peasant movement, or a movement of capitalists. We are not saying negative or positive, but simply what it is, where class, that is what you do by profession, that becomes the primary basis of defining that I am a working class leader. My supporters will be workers, and my issues will be issues of the working class, right? Similarly, for example, if I am a feminist, right? So I have said that who are my supporters? Most of the supporters, they are going to be women, females, and most of my goals, they will be related to the goals or the issues or challenges faced by women, right? We are not saying anything negative, we are not saying anything positive. From technical perspective, अगर communal ठीक है, तो हम ये नहीं कह रहे हैं, व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज वी आर नॉट सेइंग दैट अकालीज दे आर अ नेगेटिव फोर्स, दे कैन बिकम नेगेटिव फोर्स, राइट, ऐसा. बट टू बिगिन विद, फॉर दोज फॉर हुम रिलीजन वाज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, दोज आर सेइंग कि भाई वी केम इनटू एग्जिस्टेंस फॉर गुरुद्वारास एंड वी बिलीव इन सिखिज्म. तो हम ये नहीं कह रहे कि अभी विलन बन गए, या इन प्रेजेंट पॉलिटिक्स अकाली दल इज अ विलन, वी आर नॉट सेइंग एनीथिंग लाइक दैट. बट इफ दे डू कॉम्युनल पॉलिटिक्स, right, then it is a negative, then because chances of it becoming very negative, they are very very high, right. Example, in post independence India you study about Punjab crisis, Operation Blue Star you study about, right. So therefore when you study Operation Blue Star and you see why there was a rise of Bhindranwale, right. So Bhindranwale ka jo rise hai usse Bhindranwale for example had, as per many sources, Bhindranwale for example had support of some of the Congress leaders of that particular time. Why? Because they wanted to counter the Akalis' religiosity. There was a Akali Dal which was very religious. So to counter the Akali Dal, they thought, some of the Congress leaders thought that we need to have a person who is icon of Sikh religion. And if he will be on our side, then when elections take place, Akali Dal will not be the only party which can utilize the religion for votes. Why? Because in the opposition mein bhi there is a person who is seen or perceived as deeply religious and he is not with them. So Akali versus Bhindranwale kind of issue it was there, but ultimately it happened negative, right. Bhindranwale was over ambitious, right. Then the movement happened in such a manner that territorial integrity of India, it came under threat. It was handled also in a very bad manner, and therefore the Operation Blue Star took place. Operation Blue Star was not a very right way to handle things. There is an agreement among commentators that it was not a very intelligently handling the issue. Obviously, if someone is threatening the territorial integrity of India, it has to be taken care of. But entering Golden Temple and attacking us tarike se, so it could have been better managed, as are most of the commentators. That is without hurting the religious sentiments of the Sikh community. The issue could have been better managed. But I'm just trying to tell you that linkage of this Akali, ये मैं आपको सब क्यों बताया, बिकॉज लिंकेज ऑफ दिस अकाली मूवमेंट यू आर गोइंग टू सी लेटर ऑल्सो, राइट, इन द पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस इंडिया सिलेबस, राइट. तो वहां पे भी एक बार जिक्र आएगा इन द बैकग्राउंड ऑफ रिलीजन इन पंजाब, दैट सिंस द राइज ऑफ अकालीस there was this Akali party which was engaging in which had issues which are pertaining to religion, right. और फिर जब भिंडरावाले डिस्कस करेंगे, सो वहां पे एक पॉइंट आएगा दैट टू काउंटर द अकाली दल देयर वाज सम सपोर्ट टू भिंडरावाले. So therefore ये लिंक है to the future, right. एक लास्ट लाइन प्लस थर्ड सब पॉइंट, यूनियनिस्ट पार्टी which had pro-British elements, माने who were soft towards British, they want Gurdwaras control, but they are like नहीं वैसे तो अंग्रेज ठीक हैं. These kind of elements, they form unionist party. So movement got split into multiple political parties, plus high religiosity was there. Hanji, ab aap पूछिए. Someone was asking something. Hanji. पंजाब में इतना वायलेंट क्यों हुआ था? In the urban areas of Punjab हुआ था पहली बात. The student is asking that if we are saying that it is the Akali movement, after which the masses they became nationalistic. So why there was so much amount of violence after arrest of Mahatma Gandhi? कहाँ पे? In Punjab. Why there was so much amount of violence after arrest of Mahatma Gandhi? This is your question. Huh? So one thing we should qualify that urban areas, they do not represent masses. Masses in India, they reside in villages. Even today, masses in India, they reside in villages. And in the Rowlatt Satyagraha, what did we say? Urban areas participated, rural areas did not. Right? So this kind of thing. And second aspect, Gandhi ji ka arrest to ek bahana tha. Right? People, they had some other anger. Lakhs of Indians, they had died because of the Spanish flu. Plus war-related inflation was there. Right? So therefore, a lot of troubles were being faced by the people, and this gave them an outlet. Rowlatt Satyagraha gave them an outlet to express their anger. Real anger is that in your home you do not have food. Outside anger is Gandhi ko kaise arrest kiya be? It is providing an outlet. right? So basically energy it is provided by, आप सारी movements देख लीजिए. 1929 Great Depression, immediately you have 1930 to 1934 civil disobedience movement, World War II, and then you have Quit India movement, and here World War I, and you had Rowlatt Satyagraha and non-cooperation movement. So therefore this is how the grievances, economic grievances created by the international events that gave the energy, and now it was upon the INM leaders that can you channelize this energy into something anti-British? Can you channelize this energy towards the goal of Swaraj? Right? So this is what they did, and this is an intelligent thing to do, right? So as right, this kind of scenario. Okay, Hanji. Who are the leftists? So there is a left-wing ideology and there is a right-wing ideology. Broadly, the left-wing ideology, ऐसा लिख लो, right? Broadly, what is the left-wing ideology? So left-wing ideology, इसके अंदर भी दो streams हैं. एक होता है far left, right? And एक होता है left of center. Right, left of center you will be able to more easily associate because you are part of India. Maybe you have heard about, you know, Jawaharlal Nehru, right, and all of these things, his policies, etc. So these people, they are usually called socialists, right? इनका पार्टी का नाम क्या होता है? पार्टी नेम ये लोग रखते हैं, उसके अंदर सोशलिस्ट रहता है, right? I'm deliberately saying party name because if you ask that is a communist a socialist, answer is yes. So ये दोनों ही socialist in theory. But in practice, when it comes to politics, so therefore, if you say no, I belong to socialist party, not communist party, right? So therefore, these people are less harsh. So usually, इनका party का नाम होता है socialist party. Those who are less harsh, right? These people, they believe, for example, in the domain of economy, what do they want? In the domain of economy, they believe in mixed economy. Mixed economy माने PSUs should also be there, and private sector can also exist. Those who are capitalists, what do they say? Right-wing ideology. Right-wing ideology says, अब मैं ये right-wing नहीं explain करने वाला, फिर वो ज़्यादा time चलाएगा, 20-25 मिनट चले जाएंगे, right? But इसका opposite है, right? So for example, the right-wing ideology will support private sector. Right-wing ideology will say very less role of state in the economy, right? This kind of scenario. Second component, for example, they will believe in planned economy. Planned economy, and who makes plans? 5-year plans, which are made by state. Planning commission is also part of state only. Bureaucracy is also part of state, military is also part of state, legislature is also part of state, executive is also part of state, judiciary is also part of state, right? So therefore, Niti Aayog or planning commission, they are also part of state, right? So therefore, planned economy. Planned economy means who is deciding what will happen in the next 5 years in the economy? How much amount of steel will be generated? How much amount of coal will be generated? Who is deciding? Government. Government is deciding. Who is not deciding? Market forces, right? So यहाँ पे right wing जो usually होता है, right wing के अंदर basically they are in favor of private sector or capitalists. They support capitalism. And what does capitalism stands for? So planned economy नहीं होगा. Very minimal role of state. Minimal role of state in economy. Minimal role of state in economy. ये लोग कह रहे हैं कि government will decide what will happen in 5 years. These people, they say market forces should decide. Market forces of demand and supply will decide what should be produced in the economy and what should not be produced in the economy. If there is no demand, for iPhone in the economy, right? iPhone will not be. If there is no demand of physical newspapers in the economy because of digitization of economy, then newspaper नहीं बनेगा. Simple. भाई तुम्हें requirement है नहीं, right? So right. मैं बाहर खड़ा हो गया newspaper का ठेला लगा के, no one is buying my newspapers because everyone is on the tab, right? So market forces have determined that the next day newspapers, they will not be sold. Market forces have determined that there is no demand for the newspapers, so therefore I need to change my economic activity, as simple as that. But if the plan is we need to produce these many newspapers every day, so चाहे कोई खरीदे चाहे ना खरीदे, newspaper तो बनेंगे, right? That why? Because the state has decided that this thing has to be produced, right? These people, they believe in, so market forces, for example, they believe in MRP, or they believe in the market price. Whereas these people, they may believe in administered price. Administered price माने where the government has already decided. Administered price, the government has decided कि नहीं, Pepsi cannot be sold more than 10 rupees per bottle. Sorry. Movie ticket maximum 150 rupees. Popcorn, ₹5 of popcorn sold at 500 rupees. Imagine, right? So actual money these people they are earning. Actual money these people are earning not from movie tickets. They are earning from popcorn. Right? So ऐसा you buy popcorn and Pepsi etc. 1,000 rupees gone there, and movie ticket if two people are going, movie ticket of 800 rupees or 700 rupees, right? Or even 500. Morning show देख लो तो 200 रुपए. Popcorn of 1,000 rupees. Right? So ऐसा वो क्या करें भाई market price है. We are telling you that popcorn is sold at this price. तुम्हें लेना है लो, मत लेना मत लो. मार्केट प्राइस कैसे डिटरमाइन होता है? अगर मैं पॉपकॉर्न सेलर हूं, मैं बोलूंगा 100 रुपए. यू स्टिल केम एंड बॉट पॉपकॉर्न while you came to watch movie. Then I said 500 rupees. You still came and purchased popcorn while you were watching movie. Then I say 1,000 rupees. You still came and purchased popcorn. Next I say 2,000 rupees. You're like पागल है क्या? घर से ले आऊं पॉपकॉर्न. अलाउ नहीं करते हो, ठीक है? ये तो बैग में डाल के ले जाता है, ठीक है? तो एनीवेज, तो एडमिनिस्ट्रेड प्राइस माने द गवर्नमेंट हैज डिसाइडेड द प्राइस, राइट? सो ऐसा अब मैं कुछ बात बताने लगता हूँ, वो हमेशा खिंच जाती है. क्यों? इसलिए मैं से मत पूछा करो फालतू के सवाल. हु इज लेफ्ट विंग, हु इज राइट विंग, तो बता अरे पूरा कर लूं मैं. एडमिनिस्ट्रेड प्राइस, मार्केट प्राइस, ऐसा, ठीक है? ये इकोनॉमी ऐसा रहेगा, ठीक है? मिक्स्ड इकोनॉमी रहेगा, प्लान इकोनॉमी रहेगा, एडमिनिस्ट्रेड प्राइस रहेगा. दूसरा क्या रहेगा? दूसरा रहेगा बेसिकली व्हाट इज द आइडिया? द स्टेट शुड यूज इट्स इकोनॉमिक पावर to do welfare of the poor. So these people they say Karl Marx was wanting stateless society, but these people say ki sorry Karl Marx, Lenin said sorry Karl Marx, what we will do is instead of ending the state, cannot we use the power of the state in favor of the poor? Right? So therefore they want to use the economic power of the state, and also the legislative power of the state, and also the military power of the state in favor of the poor. Right? So therefore they want what? These people they want welfare state. Welfare state, for example, you have MG Narega, you have minimum support prices, you have DBT, direct benefit transfer. So this is what? Welfare state. A state which takes care of the weak. A state which takes care of the weak, which is using its monetary power, its political power, its executive, legislative power in favor of the poor. For example, Minimum Wages Act. राइट? ऐसा करके अब इसको बनाते रहो साथ साथ, राइट? बना लिया राइट? अबे पॉलिटिक्स में, सो देयरफॉर पॉलिटिक्स में फॉर एग्जांपल यूज लेजिस्लेटिव पावर, use legislative power of state, use legislative power of state for poor. For example, Minimum Wages Act, एक कानून बनाया कि इससे कम तनख्वाह कोई नहीं देगा. Minimum Wages Act. Compulsory contribution to social security. If any company has more than 20 employees, you have to contribute to Provident Fund, PF. Right? So this is like a welfare state. You are using the political power to benefit the poor. Right? Therefore, these people they want a strong state. These people they want a strong state. Right? Who is interfering in the economy? Right? Strong state who is interfering in the economy, right? In favor of the poor, right? This is what they want. Then these people in the domain of economy, एक point रह गया, एक independent से लिख देते हैं. अच्छा, these people they believe in multi-party democracy. Multi-party democracy, right? So they are not harsh. They are like multi-party democracy. Harshness will be, for example, the far left will say one-party system. All other political parties are anti-workers, are anti-peasant, and therefore only one party should exist called Communist Party. So China today is a one-party system. USSR was a one-party system. They do not believe in elections. They say why there should be any political party which support the interests of the capitalists? You don't have right to exist. Get out. Right? Only Communist Party will exist. Aisa they support. But these people they believe in, they are less harsh. They believe in multi-party democracy. Hanji. they believe in equality. They are using the power of the state to bring economic equality, na? By doing direct benefit transfer, by giving jobs to the poor. They are using the economic and the legislative power of the state to bring equality in the society. नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं. अभी हम राइट विंग की डिटेल में, नो वन हैज मोनोपोली ऑफ एनी ऑफ दीज थिंग्स, राइट. फॉर एग्जांपल इन द केस ऑफ द राइट विंग आल्सो दे विल वांट अ स्ट्रांग स्टेट, राइट. दे कैन वांट अ स्ट्रांग स्टेट, उसमें कोई इशू नहीं है. The simple point to understand is that imagine that state is like a gun, right? Now, either you want a AK-47 or you do not want AK-47, you want only a pistol. So, state is like a weapon. State is like a tool. State is like a tool. Now, it is in the hands of which person that will decide that for what the state is used. If it is in the hands of a socialist, the state will be utilized for all of these things. If it is in the hand of communist, the state will be utilized for ending capitalism, building an absolute, ending capitalism, right? Ending multi-party democracy, having a one-party system, forcing all of these things, right? Extra element of force is there. That is like AK-47. They want to have a very strong state which can implement their, agenda. If it is, if the strong state is in the hands of right wing, then they would want to promote capitalism with the help of that strong state. तो स्टेट इट इज जस्ट अ टूल. अब उसको आप किस चीज के इस्तेमाल करते हैं, फॉर व्हाट यू यूज इट, दैट इज अ सेपरेट मैटर, राइट. अ स्टेट विच प्रमोट्स कैपिटलिज्म, अ स्टेट विच प्रमोट्स फॉरेन डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट्स, अ स्टेट विच प्रमोट्स फ्री मार्केट इकोनॉमी. तो स्टेट तो बस एक औजार है, स्टेट इज जस्ट अ टूल. फॉर व्हाट डू यू यूज इट, दैट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट. ऑब्वियसली दोज पीपल हु विल बी ऑन द एक्सट्रीम्स, they will want a state which is AK-47, which is absolute. So therefore, in the far right wing, you have Hitler, right? And on the far left wing, you have Mao Zedong, Stalin, right? And left, मतलब slightly थोड़ा सा इस तरफ, you have, for example, socialists, Jawaharlal Nehru, Annie Besant, they are Fabianists. And extreme right wing से थोड़ा सा इस तरफ माने कि right of center. Right? So, for example, in India, BJP is called a right-wing party. Those who oppose BJP, they say that they are fascists. Why? Because वो बदनाम करना चाहते हैं BJP को. It is politics. Politics तो चलती है ना, ठीक है. But अगर आप देखो, so it is not extreme right-wing, it is right-wing. Technically, normally अगर देखा जाए तो. In fact, many of the people say that BJP is more of a socialist. Why? Because look at the amount of expenditure which is done on MG नरेगा, डायरेक्ट बेनिफिट ट्रांसफर, दिस थिंग, सो मेनी. सो किसी का मोनोपोली नहीं है, राइट. बट अगर आपको स्टिल यू हैव टू फिट समवन, सो देयरफॉर ऐसा तो किसी को कोई मोनोपोली नहीं है दैट राइट विंग विल नॉट बी प्रो पुअर. एवरीवन वुड वांट टू बी प्रो पुअर. कोई ऐसी बात कहेगा क्या दैट आई एम नॉट इन फेवर ऑफ द पुअर? पगलैट हो क्या? यू वांट टू विन इलेक्शंस और नॉट? कोई भी कह सकता है क्या, राइट, दैट वी आर नॉट प्रो. सो ऐसा कोई मोनोपोली नहीं है. एंड पॉलिसीज आर देयर अडॉप्टेड बाय द हिटलर, फॉर एग्जांपल, एक्सट्रीम राइट विंग. He brought minimum support price. तो ये सब टूल्स हैं जिनके थ्रू यू आर ट्राइंग टू अचीव. तो ऐसा देयर इज नथिंग फिक्स्ड, बट एक ब्रॉड अगर पिक्चर में देखा जाए, राइट. यहां में क्या पॉइंट लिख रहा था, हाँ, लैंड रिडिस्ट्रीब्यूशन. सो दे विल बिलीव इन, कर दिया ना मेरे साथ ऐसे ही करते हो तुम. अबे तुम जाओ अपना काम करो. लैंड चलेगी इसमें 15-20 मिनट, ठीक है. लैंड रिडिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, राइट. माने कि मूवमेंट, यू टेक अवे द लैंड फ्रॉम द बिग लैंडलॉर्ड्स एंड यू डिस्ट्रीब्यूट द लैंड्स टू द दोज हु आर लैंडलेस पेजेंट्स और दोज हु आर स्मॉल लैंड ओनर्स, राइट. ऐसा, राइट. तो कुछ रफली इस प्रकार का रहता है सिस्टम. नाउ व्हाट इज एक्सट्रीम लेफ्ट विंग? एक्सट्रीम लेफ्ट विंग, दे आर कॉल्ड कम्युनिस्ट्स. एक्सट्रीम लेफ्ट विंग, दे आर कॉल्ड कम्युनिस्ट्स. अब ये पूरा वैसे इसमें एक क्लास जा सकती है, पर 3 घंटे जा सकते हैं इसमें, ठीक है, बिकॉज दे आर मल्टीपल शेड्स ऑफ लेफ्ट विंग. Communism given by Karl Marx, Leninism given by Lenin, differing with Marx on some issues but agreeing with Marx on most of the issues. Maoism, it is called agrarian communism, right, because Karl Marx was in favor of industrial sector. Mao of China said, why should we favor the industrial sector? I will favor the agriculture sector. So came agrarian communism, right. Democratic socialism, social democracy, Fabianism, ऐसा बहुत सारा चीजें हैं, right. तो ऐसा. So anyways, but broadly they are called communists, right, and they are extreme left wing. So for example, in the domain of polity, they would want one party system. इसको साथ साथ लिख लो, मैं बाद में टाइम नहीं देने वाला. तो लिखो ना, लिखो वन पार्टी सिस्टम। अरे लिखो भाई, अजीब बात कर रहे हो। वन पार्टी सिस्टम मत लिखो, तुम मत ही लिखो, ठीक। वन पार्टी सिस्टम, ठीक है। वन पार्टी सिस्टम माने दे आर एक्सट्रीम, दे डू नॉट वांट एनी कैपिटलिस्ट फोर्स, दे डू नॉट वांट एनी सॉफ्ट अप्रोच टू एग्जिस्ट, दे आर वेरी वेरी एब्सोल्यूट, दे से only poor will rule, right? And who is the representative of the poor? The Communist Party, and therefore no other political party will be allowed. Why should we give any chance to capitalism or the softer political parties to exist? Sorry, it is going to be absolute will of the poor. ऐसा ये radicals हैं, right? They want one party system, they don't believe in any multi-party democracy, right? They want very strong state, right? So for example, no private sector, no private sector, no private company, no private ownership, no private ownership of any company, no private ownership, no private plots, no private land, no private ownership. Who will own the land? Community. Money this, so convert the land into a factory. What happens in a factory? We all are workers, we go to a factory. Factory does not belong to any of us. We all are there in the factory, working on different machines, helping each other, engaging in joint production of goods, right? That's it. So therefore, in capitalism, who is the owner of factory? Capitalist. But extreme left wing says end capitalism. They say end capitalism, that is end private ownership. So if there is no capitalist, if there is no capitalist in the factory, and we all have come together and we have manufactured certain goods with the help of machines, then who owns these goods? All of us, right? मैंने इसका प्लास्टिक बनाया, तुमने इसकी ब्लैक इंक बनाई, तुमने इस पे जाके मैक्स हब लिखा, तुमने इसकी ये टिप बनाई, ये सबका है. This thing, it belongs to everyone. No one individual can say that this pen has been manufactured by me totally. This is mine. No private, it is all of us. So what is there? Community ownership of assets. So if you do not have private ownership, what do you have? Community ownership and private property altogether. Problem with land is factory cannot be divided. If there are 500 workers in a factory, you cannot divide factory into 500 parts. You cannot say that wo factory mein wo wala area belongs to you. After that, this strip of factory belongs to you, this machine, it belongs to you. You cannot divide a factory. But land it can be divided. Land, it can be divided, right? It can be divided into any number of parts, right? So the idea of the communist is convert land into a factory. How do you convert land into a factory? You are all peasants who own, and जो जिस seat पे आप बैठे हो वो आपका जमीन है. The seat on which you are sitting, this is land. Right? So you all are peasants, and the seat on which you are sitting, this is your private land, right? Right now, this system is socialism. Everyone has same amount of land or very similar amount of land, but private ownership, आपने अपनी तशरीफ इसी पे रखी हुई है. Private ownership of land is there, right? But equality is there. है ना? So this is less harsh system. Now comes a communist. Communist says, get up, this kind of scenario, and all the chairs, they are thrown out, right? Now this land is there, anyone can sit anywhere, jameen pe baitho, right? No private plots, and therefore now what you have said, like workers, they come together every morning and work in a factory. Similarly, from tomorrow, you are going to come together and you are going to work in this huge amount of land. कोई fix नहीं है that you are going to work only on this land, because there is no private property, there is no private ownership, right? अभी दिन में 1 घंटा यहाँ काम करो, फिर वहाँ चले जाओ, वहाँ काम करो, फिर वहाँ चले जाओ, वहाँ काम करो, right? So therefore, this kind of, so therefore basically you are trying to convert land into a factory, right? This is what is there. Why? Because the theme is what? The theme is, the focus, it is on joint production. Theme, it is joint production. Right? That is, individually we should not produce anything. We should come together every day and then we should produce things. Right? So joint production पे एक theme है. But these ऐसा, ये लोग भी joint production में believe करेंगे, but they are not harsh. You know what they will say? एक काम करते हैं. First, let us make each of you
owner of these small private plots. Everyone is equal. Good. But then for joint protection, what we should do? Now let us do land pooling. That is, all of you will agree that fine, we have our separate lands, but for the purposes of production of wheat or rice, we are going to pool our lands and we'll work on each other's lands. And whatever the production will be there, we will divide we'll divide between each of us as per the amount of land that we had. Right? This kind of scenario. For example, you pooled in 10 rupees, you gave me 20 rupees, you gave me 15, you gave me 20, you gave me 30, etc., etc. We invested this money in stock market. Now, whatever the gain was, it will be divided into the ratio in which you guys contributed. This is like their method, socialist methods. First private property, but then pool the private property to do joint production. ऐसा, ठीक है? Anyways, so ये है one party system. Obviously, they also believe in planned economy. They also believe in welfare state. Just that they believe in end of capitalism, right? So they will also want this thing. ये सब चीज, ये strong state, यहाँ पे absolute state. हर चीज strong है. यहाँ पे partial existence of private sector, यहाँ पे no existence of private sector. हर चीज harsh है. These people, they say end capitalism. These people say end negatives of capitalism, not capitalism. End negatives of capitalism, not capitalism. How do you end negatives of capitalism? In capitalism, market force will determine the wage, right? So I'll tell you that you are a worker, I'll give you 100 rupees. Like, sir, 100 rupees, I'm not working. I'm like, अरे कहाँ जा रहे हो? I'll give you 150 rupees. कहते सर क्या बात करते हो 150 rupees? सर मैं अच्छा चलो, I'll give you 500 rupees per day. Okay, sir. So market force has determined, this negotiation has determined what will be the wage. If the population of workers is very, very high, if poverty is very, very high in the society, if you are on the verge of dying along with your family, then I tell you, I'll give you 50 rupees. You want to work or not? Like, sir, mar jaunga. You want to work or not? Okay, sir. Right? Market force, they can be brutal. If the poverty is very high, if the population is very high, right? So, these are the market force. But in this particular scenario, what will happen? These socialists, if you're a communist, you will say, I hate this system. Who is this bloody capitalist to say that he will give 50 rupees? Who is he? End him, murder him, kill him. Right? So these people, they believe in violence. These people, they believe in violence. Violent overthrow of capitalism. These people, they'll say, maro maro mat yaar. These people are soft. So they will say, they will not support violence. They will not support violence. Usually they will not support violence. Right? It's too harsh. Anything which is harsh, that is far left or far right. Right? So they are less harsh. Plus these people will say, कि रे, एक काम करते हैं, let us simply bring a law which says Minimum Wages Act, whereby the कानून is that factory owner must give at least 500 rupees per day. Otherwise, police can arrest him. Right? So therefore, this is how you have utilized the power of the state. So you have ended the negative of capitalism. In this particular case, you have, by bringing Minimum Wages Act, you have ended the negative of capitalism. है ना, एक आप कानून लेके आ गए that minimum wage must be 500 rupees. But वो wage देगा कौन? Capitalist. Who is giving that wage? Capitalist. Right? That means you have not ended capitalist. You have only ended the negatives of capitalism. Whereas in this particular scenario, you say कि चाकू लो और उसका गला काट दो. That is, you have ended capitalism. You have ended the capitalist. So these people, they are very, very harsh. These people are relatively less harsh. Right? So therefore, what is their vote bank? Their vote bank is poor. Their vote bank is poor. Poor people. Right? Their vote bank is ऐसा. Right? नहीं, जरूरी नहीं है. Middle class, their vote bank, they are pro middle class. Middle class, which is lower middle class, upper middle class. Right? These people, they believe in capitalism. Right? These people, they believe in market forces. These people, they believe in efficiency. So these people, they believe in efficiency. Their primary mantra is efficiency. These people say efficiency देखी जाएगी, पहले welfare. So their primary mantra is welfare. Their primary mantra is efficiency. They believe that if efficiency will be there, welfare will automatically take place. Right? These people are usually pro-traditional institutions. They are usually pro-traditional institutions. Example, these people, they will be pro-religion. Usually they will support religion. Monopoly nahi hai. Hitler, he executed all the people who were the members of the church or who were the higher officials of the church. So koi monopoly nahi. Why? Because Hitler wanted all the power with him, and there cannot exist any priest who says to the people that this oppose Hitler, and people because of the priest start opposing Hitler. Nahi. Hitler is a dictator, and therefore anything that will take away power from him, he will oppose it. Right? So ऐसा कोई monopoly नहीं है that ये होगा, but usually pro religion रहेंगे, pro kings रहेंगे, pro aristocracy, pro nobility रहेंगे, usually pro जमींदार रहेंगे, right wings. Right? Usually they are pro traditional things. So traditionally who control the economy? Nobility, nobles, zamindars. Right? They are pro propertied class in general. Right? तो ऐसा रहेगा. तो ये है कुछ राइट विंग, ठीक है. और उसमें और कुछ नहीं. राइट? सो देयरफॉर दिस काइंड ऑफ सिनेरियोज है. ठीक है, तो इसको लिख लो. ठीक, लिख लिया. राइट? सो ऐसा कुछ है, लेफ्ट विंग, राइट विंग. ठीक है. बाकी इफ यू रीड वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री, ऐसा लगता है दोज पीपल हु फेल टू कम्पीट इन अ रेस, कैपिटलिज्म इट बिलीव्स इन फ्री रेस. Capitalism is like a race, right? So if you have some problem in your leg, you'll fail in capitalism. In socialism, if you have some problem in your leg, so पहले आपको 500 मीटर जाके आगे खड़ा कर दिया जाएगा कि तू वहां से भाग. This kind of scenario, right? होना क्या चाहिए, क्या नहीं चाहिए? होना ये चाहिए basically, these people, they have destroyed the poor a lot. Both have destroyed the poor, but इनका contribution ज्यादा है. Because these people, they also, इन्होंने धोखा भी किया गरीबों के साथ, सपना दिखा के चूर चूर कर दिया. Right? If you read world history, ठीक है, there is a viewpoint that those who were failed capitalists, those who could not compete in free market economy, those who could not become, very big capitalists, they still wanted power, and therefore they thought, yeah, I could not become a big businessman, but I still want power. They started this. Right? They failed. You were successful. I failed. I'm like, क्या करूं? I looked, so many poor people are there. And I thought, if I can convince these poor to murder this guy, right? And then these people, they will put me into power. I belong to middle class. Communism was a movement of failed capitalists. Karl Marx was from middle class. Lenin was from middle class. ये सारे कॉम्युनिस्ट मिडिल क्लास में से क्यों निकलते हैं? आइडियोलॉजी, ठीक, तो ऐसा, ठीक है. सो इट इज अ वे टू कैप्चर पावर. सो लेनिन केम टू पावर, ही कुड नॉट एस्टेब्लिश अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग कंपनी और ऐसा कुछ ट्राई नहीं किया, जो भी, मतलब एक ऐसे अगर देखा जाए, ठीक है, एक मतलब एक एंड रिजल्ट अगर आप देखते हैं. सो दीज पीपल दे कैप्चर्ड पावर बाय यूजिंग द पुअर. व्हाट डिड दे प्रॉमिस द पुअर? दैट विल गिव यू डिसीजन मेकिंग पावर. व्हाट डिड दे प्रॉमिस द पुअर? दैट विल improve your wages. Right? And what did they actually give? These people, they established their dictatorships were as harsh as Hitler's dictatorship. Stalin engaged in mass murders. Mao engaged in mass murders. Hitler also engaged in mass murders. Right? They established one party system. Marx ने क्या कहा था? Stateless society. That means total power with each person on the ground or with the community. That was the word Marx said. And these people, what they did? They took away all the power from the ground and centralized in a very strong one-party state. They are not even allowing multi-party democracy. They concentrated power like anything. They became dictators. Communist Party in China, Communist Party in USSR, dictator. Yugoslavia, Eastern Europe, dictatorships. Right? And if people are unhappy, if those very same workers are unhappy, and they want to start a trade union of the workers, you know what these communists said? No trade union activity is allowed. No trade union activity is allowed. मतलब वर्कर्स मुंह भी नहीं खोल सकते. प्रॉमिस तो की गई थी सत्ता. What was promised? Power. But workers, they were not even allowed to speak. Trade unions were banned in most of the communist regimes. Right to strike was taken away. पता है क्या कह के? Right now we are fighting capitalism. And if you go on strike, then our economy will go down and this communist country will fail against the US capitalism. So therefore no right to strike. Wow. Right? हाँ तो इंडिविजुअल तो देख लो कौन से इंडिविजुअल ने उद्धार कर दिया बता दो, कौन से इंडिविजुअल ने उद्धार कर दिया बता दो, ठीक है, कौन से इंडिविजुअल ने, ठीक है, चाहे आपका वो लेनिन हो, चाहे वो आपका स्टालिन हो, चाहे वो आपका निकिता कश्यप हो, चाहे वो आपका ब्रेजनेव हो, किसने उद्धार किया, चाहे वो आपका माओ जेडोंग हो, चाहे डेंग जियोपिंग ही हो, डेंग जियोपिंग ने भी तियानमेन स्क्वायर किया था ना, डेंग जियोपिंग ने किया था, ठीक है, तो एनीवेज एंड दीज पीपल आर सो चालू, ठीक है, these people are so chalu, so clever. When by the 1970s, China was very intelligent. By 1970s, China realized that communism is a big failure in the domain of economy. These kind of economic principles, they don't work. You know what China did? China said, okay, what if right now I'm a communist, so my car is what? Ambassador. Or my car is what? Fiat. Right? Which travels at max speed of 60 kilometers per hour. Right? And who is in the steering? I am, me the communist. What if I remain in the steering, but my car is Ferrari? My engine is of Ferrari, but who is the steering? I. तो इसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? So these people, they said, in the domain of politics, will not allow people any choice. In the domain of politics, will not allow people any choice. What will we have? We'll have communism, one party system. But we want a Ferrari. So in the domain of economics, what we are going to have? Capitalism. Right? As a result, what will happen? This Chinese Communist Party will not be poor. It will not be heading a poor country. It will be heading a rich country. And now that rich country can have missiles, nuclear bombs. And now if anyone threatens the power of the elite communists, who came to power by using the poor, if anyone challenges them, then these people are going to use nuclear bomb. These people are going to use the weapons. The brain, Chinese are very brainy. 1976 under Deng Xiaoping, they said capitalism in economy, communism in politics. Right? And this is how communism survived in China but failed in USSR. 1991. Right? So this is what is happening. It is all power struggle. Sab satta ka khel hai. Who will come to power? How? And who will bring to power? Masses. नहीं होता है, सत्ता का खेल है, as it is. But at least, but वहां पे क्या है? Extreme left wing में आप ये देखिए, extreme left wing में butchering है. You know why in 1991 there was 1989. In 1989 there was this Siberian coal miner strike of workers. It was the largest strike after Russian Revolution 1917. पता क्यों हुई थी? They did not have soap, साबुन नहीं. अरे काहे का कम्युनिज्म, काहे का वेलफेयर ऑफ द पुअर, काहे की पावर टू द पुअर है, काहे की सत्ता टेकिंग अवे फ्रॉम द कैपिटलिस्ट फॉर द वेलफेयर ऑफ द पुअर, साबुन नहीं. Soap, they did not have soap to wash their bodies, to wash their hands. So communism ultimately failed the poor. Communism ultimately failed the poor. Great leap forward of Mao. Lakhs of Chinese were killed. Communism failed the poor. Ultimately, communism is a failure. अभी तक तो communism कहीं survive हुआ नहीं. एक ही जगह है communism, क्यूबा में है, और बाकी तो जगह कुछ नहीं communism. Right? So ऐसा. 1991 सब लोग सेलिब्रेट करते हैं. क्या हुआ? Socialism ended in India in the domain of economics. है ना? सब पढ़ते हैं liberalization, privatization, globalization. Today it is India, it is this power, that power. Today the world is looking at us. We are a rising nation. Hey? And who are you? We are socialist. We are socialist. Right? So, right kind. So, socialism. Aisa. Right? So, obviously, LPG was also brought by a Congress which was left of center. But not that socialist. It had moved when we adopted LPG. By force we adopted LPG. But as soon as we adopted LPG, we moved closer to the center from the left. Still we had pro-poor policies. Even today we have pro-poor policies, but we are more overall. अगर इंडिया को देखा जाए, India is still left of center. But कितना left? That is the issue, right? So with LPG we moved closer to center from 2014, and whenever the BJP government came, we moved even more closer to center. But center अभी भी यहीं था. आज के टाइम पे भी सेंटर कहीं ना कहीं यही है. इफ यू एज अ ब्यूरोक्रेट, इफ यू एनालाइज द वे इन विच बजट्स आर प्लान्ड एटसेट्रा, लॉट ऑफ प्रो पुअर पॉलिसीज आर देयर. रीजन कैन बी इलेक्शन, रीजन कैन बी एक्स वाई जेड, बट स्टिल एज अ कंट्री वी आर स्टिल डीबीटी ट्रांसफर्स वगैरह ये सब चीजें देखोगे, वी आर स्टिल सेंट्रिस्ट हैं हम, या जस्ट लेफ्ट ऑफ सेंटर है हम, क्लोज टू सेंटर आ गए, इतना है. राइट, जब हम यहाँ थे एक्स्ट्रा प्रो यूएसएसआर रिलेशनशिप था. जब हम थोड़ा थोड़ा यहां आते गए, सो कांग्रेस यूपीए गवर्नमेंट ओनली साइन 123 एग्रीमेंट, न्यूक्लियर डील. राइट, सो देयरफॉर मूव क्लोजर टू द यूएस व्हिच इज राइट विंग. राइट, सो ऐसा विद इन यूएस ऑल्सो देयर इज अ, यूएस इज ओवरऑल राइट विंग, बट विद इन यूएस ऑल्सो देयर इज अ लेफ्ट ऑफ सेंटर और स्लाइटली मोर, यू आर ऑन द राइट बट यू आर क्लोजर टू द सेंटर. कैसा? जो बिडेन वाला जो पार्टी है, बैराक ओबामा वाला जो पार्टी है. राइट, या फिर उनको थोड़ा सा लेफ्ट ऑफ सेंटर कह सकते हैं इस टाइप से. तो ऐसा ऐसा रहता है. हो गया बहुत ज्ञान, ठीक है. और मेरे से ऐसे क्वेश्चन मत पूछा करो. मैं व्हाई डिड आई आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन? बिकॉज इन लास्ट क्लास आल्सो समवन वाज सेइंग, आर यू सेइंग सर यू सिप टी वेरी बैडली एंड जूस आल्सो. है, जब सलमान खान पिए है तब तो आपकी गाड़ी में गाना बजता है, आपके बड़े भाइयों ने बजाया होगा, जो एक गरम चाय की प्याली हो, कोई उसको पिलाने वाली हो. उसको गाने कैसे स्टार्ट होता है वो ऐसे ही चुस्की, सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ साउंड इज देयर. है, अब अपन सलमान खान नहीं है, तो वेरी बैडली, जूस ऑल्सो वेरी बैडली. हाँ, चलो चलो आओ, अब आगे लिखो. प्रेजेंट मूवमेंट्स ऑफ 1920s. बहुत टाइम खा गया मेरा. प्रेजेंट मूवमेंट्स ऑफ 1920s. प्रेजेंट मूवमेंट्स ऑफ 1920s. प्रेजेंट मूवमेंट्स ऑफ 1920s. राइट, तो इसका खामियाजा तो भुगतना पड़ेगा तुम्हें, ठीक है. तो अभी लिखो डू फ्रॉम हैंड आउट. लिखो लिखो रेफर हैंड आउट. एक ब्रैकेट में तो लिखो रेफर हैंड आउट. एक बार ब्रैकेट में लिखो सही, रेफर हैंड आउट. ठीक, पर चलो मैं समरी तो लिखवाऊंगा ही, ठीक है. बट सो बेसिकली इसमें क्या था, फॉर एग्जांपल 1920s, वन व्हाट इज टेकिंग प्लेस, फॉर एग्जांपल यूपी किसान सभा मूवमेंट. Right, so UP Kisan Sabha movement took place in 1918. That means it is happening before your non-cooperation movement is beginning. Non-cooperation movement began in 1920. So UP Kisan Sabha movement was being led by Madan Mohan Malviya, and Madan Mohan Malviya is a moderate. Moderate methods are writing articles, sending petitions. Right, so he was raising the issues. He was raising the issue of the peasants. Where is he? He is at UP. UP is under which kind of land revenue system? Mehalwari system. Mahal Cup, CUP, Central India, United Provinces, Punjab. But in the case of Mehalwari, we mentioned that Mehalwari was a hybrid. We mentioned that Mehalwari was a hybrid of Ryotwari and permanent settlement in terms of ownership of land. That means in most cases, individuals they were made landowners, but in some cases, zamindars they were made landowners in Mehalwari. That means, and this particular movement, UP Kisan Sabha movement, is with respect to this minority wala part. Why? Because where the zamindar is the owner of the land, he will oppress the tenants by not respecting their occupancy rights, by extracting high rents, by extracting illegal abovs, right? And if he is not able to pay the rent, and if he does not want to exit the land, then maybe by doing forced labor. Forced labor, making them do forced labor, right? उसको बोला जाता है हरी बेगार, हरी/बेगार, local names of forced labor. So these will be the grievances in the Mehalwari areas where zamindar became the owner of the land, right? So this movement was in favor of the tenants who are under the zamindars within Mehalwari, right? So grievances, we know what are the grievances. Opposition क्या है? zamindar. Right, and movement it is going on. But now Mahatma Gandhi begins the non-cooperation movement in 1920, right? And leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru, they also enter into the fray. And at this particular point of time, this peasant movement, it got split into two wings because of differences over methods. Madan Mohan Malviya said, I am a moderate and I am not going to follow Gandhian methods, because the Gandhian methods, they are not moderate methods. Gandhian methods are of non-cooperation, civil disobedience, although peaceful, right? A moderate will not be as such in favor of civil disobedience or non-cooperation. So therefore the movement got split into two parts, right? The Gandhian movement came to be known as Awadh Kisan Sabha movement, because Awadh is also a synonym for UP. Awadh UP one is in, so that came to be known as Awadh Kisan Sabha movement, and this continued as UP Kisan Sabha movement. Right? So इस तरीके से है. Now, when you are a moderate, you will be writing articles. But if you are a Gandhian and if you are leading the Awadh Kisan Sabha movement, तो फिर आपके methods क्या होंगे? NC and CD, or simply irritate करना by being peaceful. Right? So how will you do non-cooperation and civil disobedience? Zamindar comes, he say pay me rent, कहता नहीं देता, नहीं देता. Zamindar brings lathiyals, मार ले, but I will not give. Right? Yes. Zamindar says, give me abab, you break, नहीं देता. Zamindar brings lathiyals, मार ले. You want to hit me, hit me. ठीक, कि यहाँ मार ले, यहाँ मार ले. Gandhian methods. Zamindar wants you to do forced labor, नहीं करता. चिकन खा रहा हूँ, सैंडविच खा रहा हूँ, नहीं करता, है ना. If Zamindar wants to remove you from the land, तो पता है नहीं जाता. So this is how you'll do, right? You'll oppose by yet being peaceful, right? So these are methods which will be followed by the Awadh Kisan Sabha movement. It is logical, commonsensical. You don't have to remember anything, right? So this is what is there. फिर थी एक एका movement. Eka movement was also in Awadh, but here the leader was not a Gandhian. Madari Pasi was the name of the leader. He was not a Gandhian, right? So he did not believe in, ये भी यूपी में ही है, he did not believe in Gandhian methods, right? So therefore when the Zamindars came with their lathiyals, right, he is like जूता निकाल के मारूंगा एक, lathiyal लेके आता है, लठ मारता है, right? If you're going to use violence against me, I'm going to respond with violence. I'm not a Gandhian who will say that you have slapped me on this cheek, now slap me on this cheek, right? So this kind of scenario. Now, what do we see? We see that whenever there will be violence, a alibi or a reason will be available with the police to do lathi charge, right? So you see, whenever the movements they turn violent, whenever the peasant movements etc. they turn violent, Britishers they had a reason to suppress it in the name of law and order, right? So don't be very surprised that when the movement of the Moplas turned communally violent in Malabar, it easily got repressed by the Britishers because in the name of law and order, right? In the Eka movement also, because the movement will turn violent, so therefore very easy for the government to repress it, right? This kind of scenario it is there, but ultimately these movements they were able to, the Britishers they did bring a law which tried to improve the conditions of the tenants, right? This kind of scenario it is there, right? So ye movement, so write down UP Kisan Sabha movement, first write down UP Kisan Sabha movement 1918, UP Kisan Sabha movement 1918, dash grievance is equal to high rents comma illegal ababs, high rents comma illegal ababs comma बेदखली slash no occupancy rights बेदखली slash no occupancy rights comma Hari and Begar, that is forced labor. 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 So these are the grievances. And obviously who is the oppressor? Zamindar is the oppressor, right? So next point. Movement by Madan Mohan Malviya, a moderate. Movement by Madan Mohan Malviya, a moderate. Charan is asking, sir, between moderates and extremists, what should be the stand of the bureaucrats? Should be like moderates or extremists or combination of both? Always a moderate. A bureaucrat is a person who has given oath to the constitution, right? So therefore, bureaucrats should always support constitutional methods. Imagine that you are a bureaucrat and for grievance redressal, People have to come out on the street to protest in a peaceful manner. Is it not your failure? It is your failure that your office, the DM office, did not have enough constitutional mechanisms. The state is not having enough constitutional mechanisms which are efficient enough, successful enough to resolve the grievances, and so that the people, they don't have to come out on the streets for their grievances. So as a bureaucrat, you will always be in favor of constitutional agitations. You'll be like, here, why are you doing protest? You come to my office, I'll listen to your problem, I'll try to solve your problem. Use a constitutional mechanism to get redressal of your grievances, rather than being out there on the street. As a bureaucrat, you'll always be in favor of moderate methods. Right? Next point. HRL movement, HRL movement 1916-18, HRL movement 1916-18, 1916-18, politicized peasants, politicized peasants, politicized peasants, and this contributed, and this contributed, and this contributed to peasant movements, and this contributed to peasant movements, and this contributed to peasant movements. Next point. During NCM, Kisan Sabha, during NCM, Kisan Sabha split into, during NCM, Kisan Sabha split into those who supported, split into those who supported moderate methods, those who supported moderate methods, and those dash Gandhian methods, and those dash Gandhian methods. माने कि those who supported Gandhian methods, those dash Gandhian methods, Gandhian methods. Therefore, rise of Awadh Kisan Sabha, therefore rise of Awadh Kisan Sabha 1920, therefore rise of Awadh Kisan Sabha 1920, under leadership of Nehru, under leadership of Nehru, under leadership of Nehru, and it merged into NCM, and it merged into NCM, and it merged into NCM, therefore strengthening NCM. It merged into NCM, therefore strengthening NCM. Merged into NCM, therefore strengthening NCM. So what do you mean by merging? Merging means this. INC leaders, they will raise the peasant demands. INC leaders, they will raise the peasant demands. And what will the peasants give in return? The peasants will raise the slogan of Swaraj. So this is how INC is strengthening the peasant movement, and peasants are strengthening the INC movement, that is NCM. And this is how peasants are also becoming a voice in the INM. Nehru जब हम भी बोलेंगे तो it is always Jawaharlal Nehru. Wherever it will be Motilal Nehru, we will mention the full name Motilal Nehru. Right? Otherwise, in common parlance, when you use the word Nehru, it is Jawaharlal Nehru. Right? Result is equal to. Finally, there was violence. Finally, there was violence. Because people are failing Mahatma Gandhi. Finally, there was violence that led to repression in 1921. Finally, there was violence that led to repression in 1921. That led to repression in 1921. But British also brought Awadh Rent Amendment Act 1921. But British also brought Awadh Rent Amendment Act 1921. But British also brought Awadh Rent Amendment Act 1921. Awadh Rent Amendment Act 1921. Next event, Eka movement, EKA, Eka movement, Eka movement in Awadh, Eka movement in Awadh 1921. EKA, Eka, Eka movement in Awadh 1921. First point, same grievances, same grievances, same grievances, plus operation by rent collectors, same grievances plus operation by rent collectors, operation by rent collectors, operation by rent collectors. Next point, same methods as Awadh Kisan Sabha, same methods as Awadh Kisan Sabha, same methods as Awadh Kisan Sabha. That is non-payment of rent, that is non-payment of rent, non-payment of rent, comma refusing bedakli, refusing bedakli, comma hari and begar, comma hari and begar, refusing bedakli, comma hari and begar, and not paying abovs, and not paying abovs, and not paying abovs, and not paying abovs. Next point, leader Madari Pasi, leader Madari Pasi, PASI, leader Madari, MADARI, Madari Pasi, PASI, didn't believe in Gandhian, didn't believe in non-violence, didn't believe in non-violence, didn't believe in non-violence. Therefore, movement turned violent and repressed. Therefore, movement turned violent, didn't believe in non-violence. Therefore, movement turned violent, movement turned violent and repressed, and repressed, and repressed. Next heading item, Mopla Revolt, MOPLAH, Mopla Revolt, which is also known as Mapilla Revolt. Mopla Revolt took place in 1840s, it took place in 1870s, it took place in 1920s. Mopla Revolt, 1921 Malabar. Mopla Revolt, 1921 Malabar. Mopla Revolt, 1921 Malabar. First subpoint, Muslim riots, Muslim riots participated in Khilafat, Muslim riots participated in Khilafat movement, Muslim riots participated in Khilafat movement, participated in Khilafat movement under INC leaders, under INC leaders, under INC leaders. Second subpoint, grievance is equal to, grievance is equal to oppression, grievance is equal to oppression by zamindars, grievance is equal to oppression by zamindars, that is Janmis, that is Janmis, that is Janmis. Next point, after arrest of INC leaders, after arrest of INC leaders, movement became leaderless, movement became leaderless. In brackets डाला है के car driverless dash bang bang. But if the car becomes driverless, So what happens? The car will hit the footpath, the car will hit some metro pillar, है ना? तो वही है. So अब मतलब ऐसा लेमैन तरीके से. So movement became leaderless and therefore movement became leaderless and therefore communal riots movement became leaderless and therefore communal riots as moplas were religiously charged. Moplas were religiously charged due to Khilafat. Religiously charged due to Khilafat. Due to Khilafat. Full stop. British repressed. Full stop. British repressed. Negative is equal to broke HM unity. Broke HM unity of NCM. Broke Hindu Muslim unity of non-cooperation movement. Broke HM unity of NCM. Next write down Borsad Satyagraha. Next heading Borsad. It is in Gujarat. BORSAD. Borsad Satyagraha. BORSAD. Borsad Satyagraha. हाँ वही चल रहा है. Peasant movements of 1920 is the heading ना. Borsad Satyagraha. Borsad Satyagraha. In brackets Gujarat. 1922-24. 1922-24. 1922-24. Right. So Borsad Satyagraha is very, very simple. So it was led by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Right. It was led by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. And therefore one of the contribution of the peasant movements of 1920s is that there is rise of regional leaders, strong regional leaders. Right. In the form of, for example, Jawaharlal Nehru because of Awadh Kisan movement. Awadh Kisan Sabha movement. यहाँ पे Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel because of Borsad Satyagraha and later on Bardoli Satyagraha, both happened in 1920s. Right. So rise of regional leaders it is taking place. Some new fresh faces are coming. Home Rule League movement had also assisted in rise of new faces. Right. For example, Nehru had also joined the NEB Cents, your Home Rule League. Right. So this now what is this Borsad Satyagraha? Grievance is very, very simple. Dacoities. Dakus were there. Right. Dacoits. Right. So they used to come and they used to loot the villages. Right. Problem was that the police was being bribed by the Dakus. Police was being bribed by the dacoits. As a result, the grievance. Now, what happened? To resolve the problem, what did the government decide? The government, एक और चीज है, the government decided to station more police people. There is a law and order problem. Daku are coming, they are looting. So what will be the response of the government? More number of policemen. And villagers, they have to pay an additional tax to pay the salaries of these policemen. The problem is the policemen, they are hands in glove with the dacoits. So एक तो number of oppressors are increasing, plus you are taking money also from my pocket to pay their salaries, and therefore this became the trigger, this became the grievance of the peasants. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, he took the leadership. He was a great organizer, he was a great manager, right? So he organized the villages, into NCC like छावनी जैसा आप कह सकते हैं, मतलब ऐसा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऐसा मतलब बनाए, ग्रुप्स में बनाए, ठीक. सो फॉर एग्जांपल आई हैव मेड यू 5 पार्ट ऑफ अ ग्रुप. सो आई टेल यू पेड़ पे चढ़ जाओ, राइट. आई टेल यू टू क्लाइंब अप अ ट्री. देन you5 you also climb upon a tree. you5 you also climb upon that tree. you5 you also climb upon that tree, ठीक. So this kind of scenario. And what will be your work? Your work will be that now the villagers, they are going to start a no tax campaign. That is, we are not going to pay this tax which has been additionally levied upon us to pay the salaries of the additional policemen which have been stationed. We are not going to pay the tax, additional tax which has been levied upon us to pay the salaries of the additional policemen which has been stationed by the government of Bombay province. So when you do not pay tax, the government comes to recover the tax. The police comes to recover the tax. So what is going to be your job? Whenever the police comes, you are going to make some funny noises, right? Some code language, right? Just woo, right? This kind of whatever voice, right? Something like this you are going to do, and as a result, rest of us villagers will come to know that the police is on their way, right? And then we are going to run away with our cattle, गाय भैंस बोरिया बिस्तर उठा के भाग लो, so that when the police finally arrives at the village is empty, and the policemen, they are not able to recover the tax, they are not able to take money from us, they are not able to take away our cattle, etc. So therefore this is the plan, right? Finally the issue will get highlighted, and when what was the demand of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel? Inquiry committee. Why? Because Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel is a Gandhian, and what is the Gandhian way of resolving problem? Truthfulness, arbitration, right? So that is the thing. When the governor of Bombay province, he comes to know that such kind of allegations are there against my policemen, he became embarrassed, and because of that he finally opened an inquiry committee, and that inquiry committee revealed the truth, and therefore grievance of additional tax and the grievance of corruption by the police officers, it was finally settled. So this is your Borsad Satyagraha, right? What is the importance of Borsad Satyagraha? Two importance are there. Just in case UPSC tomorrow, UPSC has always कितने सारे questions पूछे ही नहीं गए आज तक, पूछे जा सकते हैं. UPSC can simply ask that, for example, discuss rise of regional leaders in the 1920s, ऐसा करके बोल दिया तो. So therefore one importance is that Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel is becoming famous, right? His profile is rising. He is the future home minister who is going to do the integration of the princely states, right? So therefore rise of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel is taking place. That's like one thing. Second point is that 1920s are usually called passive phase, because from 1922 until 1927 INC was not engaged in any political activity, any movement was not going on, so it is called passive phase. So if UPSC asks that after non-cooperation movement withdrawal, the Indian national movement entered into a passive phase, right? What will be your answer? You will be agreeing to this statement with respect to INC being less active, but that does not mean कि Indian nation, INM is different from INC. INC was inactive. That does not mean INM में कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा था. One part of the nation, that is peasants, they were doing peasant movements, right? INM में भी there was rise of regional leaders like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel etc., which was taking place. 1925 में Communist Party of India is being set up, which is a topic which we will discuss later, right? So 1920s में Bhagat Singh is active, revolutionaries are active. अरे भाई, it is passive phase for INC, it is not a passive phase for overall INM. हाँ, mass politics का एक passive phase है, where goal is Swaraj and masses are out on the streets. That thing, it is not taking place, but a lot of other activities are taking place. A lot of other political activities are taking place. So movement is not taking place, but ऐसा नहीं है कि कुछ politics हो ही नहीं रही थी, that no politics. So therefore then you can use these particular things, right? So write down Borsad Satyagraha, Gujarat, 1922-24, first sub point. Led by Patel, plus method is equal to Satyagraha, non-violent Satyagraha. Next, grievance is equal to collusion मतलब साठ काट, collusion between police and dacoits, Next, plus is a plus government deployed additional forces, and for its expenses applied additional taxes, expenses applied additional taxes. For its expenses applied additional taxes. Next point, action is equal to Patel organized villagers into volunteer corps. मतलब समझने के लिए ना इसको आप समझ लीजिए जैसे एनसीसी है, राइट, मतलब ऑर्गेनाइज, मतलब स्मॉल यूनिट्स, राइट, प्लाटून समझ लो, कुछ समझ लो, ठीक है, इट्स लाइक ऑर्गेनाइजिंग द पीपल इनटू स्मॉल यूनिट्स, वॉलंटियर कॉर्प्स, ऐसा वॉलंटियर कॉर्प्स and started no tax campaign against additional taxes levied. Started no tax campaign against additional tax levied. Plus, volunteers alerted villagers when officials came to seize property. Volunteers alerted villagers when officials came to seize, SEIZE, came to seize property to recover tax. Came to seize property to recover tax. Next point, movement forced Governor of Bombay, GBO, Governor of Bombay to order inquiry. And therefore led to withdrawal, and therefore led to resolution of grievances, As a student, try to notice one small thing. And what is that thing? So बैग में स्टार लगा के लिखिए notice. क्या है notice? MG ideology oppose only unjust aspects. Right? So Mahatma Gandhi, see, in politics, when we discussed tribals also, तब भी हमने कहा था, when the tribals, they attacked the money lenders, their life was not attacked, only the proofs that they have taken a loan that was attacked. So हमने तारीफ करी थी tribals and peasants की, we had given credit to them that they were clearly aware about their agent of oppression. They are not simply gundas who are killing money lenders, they are entering the houses of money lenders and they are burning the debt bonds, or they are burning the proofs that they have taken loans. So they are aware about their oppressor. So therefore, in a Gandhian movement, in a proper political movement, one should be very clearly aware that why am I doing this movement? So I ask you a question, was this movement for Swaraj? No. So you see, if this movement had been for Swaraj, then Britishers, they don't have a right to rule over India. Then Britishers, they don't have the right to apply any taxes on us. Then my call to the people will be, don't pay any tax. But here, my goal is not Swaraj, my goal is what? Resolution of limited grievances. My grievance is additional tax. Therefore, I ask people to do what? To not pay additional tax. मैंने उनको नहीं कहा you will not pay any tax. मैंने कहा you will not pay additional tax. So the government gets a clear signal that we are opposed to this particular aspect. We are not starting a no tax movement against, no taxation without representation like movement against you. We clearly know this is our grievance and this ये injustice हम नहीं सहेंगे. So in those movements where the goal is Swaraj, there you will find method of no tax campaign, माने don't pay any tax. But where the movement is not for Swaraj and a movement is for a specific grievance, let's say, right, then that particular specific grievance will be there. Right, this element is seen in the Gandhian, Gandhian followers, right, और महात्मा गांधी के जो peasant movements है उनमें ये element देखा जाता है, right. So MG ideologies oppose only unjust aspects, right. Therefore क्या oppose किया? Therefore opposed additional tax. Therefore opposed additional tax. In movements where goal is equal to Swaraj, in movements where goal is equal to Swaraj, there principle of anti-WR applies. There anti-WR क्या होता है? No taxation without representation applies. Therefore, here we oppose all tax. Here we oppose all taxes. Right? So therefore, when you are a politician, you know what is your goal. In this Borsa Satyagraha, goal is not overthrow of the British Raj. Your goal is clear, limited goal है, so method भी limited है. जहाँ पे आपका गोल होगा टू ओवरथ्रो द ब्रिटिश राज, वहाँ पे आप कहेंगे डोंट पे एनी टैक्स, वहाँ पे आप कहेंगे गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट शुड रिजाइन एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा, है ना. सो देयरफॉर ऐसा समझ के पढ़ना है, ठीक है ना. कोई भी चीज ऐसे ऐसे रट्टा माल. स्पेक्ट्रम में क्या होता है, ये सब चीजें बताई नहीं जाती. स्पेक्ट्रम में होता है, स्पेक्ट्रम बस ब्रैकेट में स्टार लगा, स्पेक्ट्रम में है ही नहीं. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, बरदोली सत्याग्रह 1928. बरदोली सत्याग्रह 1928. तू बाहर में गया और तेरी डोली उठ गई. बरदोली सत्याग्रह, BARDOLI, बरदोली सत्याग्रह 1928. कहते हैं बरदोली सत्याग्रह, डिप्रेस आदमी कहां जाता है? दारू पीने जाता है ना. बरदोली सत्याग्रह लिफ्टेड महात्मा गांधी आउट ऑफ डिप्रेशन. अब वो वैसे तो बाहर में जा नहीं सकते, तो यहां आ गए. बरदोली जगह का नाम है ना, बरदोली सत्याग्रह, ठीक है. सो बरदोली सत्याग्रह 1928 विल डिस्कस आफ्टर 10 minutes ऑफ ब्रेक. This is also taking place in Gujarat. Background is, mentally just try to remember that where did you heard about Bardoli earlier. There's civil disobedience was to take place from Bardoli, and then there was this Bardoli resolution. But that Bardoli resolution is 1922. उसके 6 साल बाद here a peasant movement is taking place in the form of Bardoli Satyagraha. It is a peasant movement. Someone's name is Drishti, so someone is asking, why are you in Vision? You should be in Drishti IAS. So Drishti is saying, then China is far left and India is left from center. China, see that intelligent thing is, if in interview someone asks you a question, so is China far left? Right? And if you say yes or no, तुम गए, you're gone. Right? इसी इंटेलिजेंट आंसर क्या है? इंटेलिजेंट क्या, जो कॉमन सेंस है, समझ के अगर पढ़ोगे तो कहोगे आप, सर इन द डोमेन ऑफ इकोनॉमी they have adopted capitalism, but in the domain of politics they are far left. So they are acting right wing in many ways in economics, but in politics they are acting left wing. ऐसा, right? So बरदोली सत्याग्रह, right? So बरदोली सत्याग्रह लिखिए, grievance is equal to 30% increase in LR. Grievance is equal to 30% increase in LR. 30% increase in LR. In brackets स्टार लगा के रियोतवारी is equal to scam B. In brackets स्टार लगा के रियोतवारी is equal to scam B. Brackets close. रियोतवारी कहाँ का था? सिंध, कूर्ग, असम, मद्रास, बॉम्बे. गुजरात is part of Bombay. So here what is the grievance? Land revenue. In permanent settlement, what will be the grievance? High rent. In Mehalwari, in those areas Where zamindar is the landowner, there the grievance will be higher rent. In those areas where the individual is the landowner, there will be grievance will be land revenue, right? So clarity रहना चाहिए, ठीक. तो छोटी छोटी चीजों में अगर हम लिखा 30% इंक्रीज इन लैंड रेवेन्यू, हाँ सर ठीक है होगा ग्रीवेंस. नहीं सोचो YLR, हर चीज में Y सोचो छोटे छोटे उसमें, राइट. वाई बिकॉज इट इज अ रियोतवारी, और हमारा रियोतवारी रिवाइज भी हो गया, ठीक है. सो देयरफॉर नेक्स्ट, preparations were done for CDM. Preparations were done for CDM phase. Preparations were done for CDM phase. Preparations were done for CDM phase of NCM. CDM phase of NCM since November 1921. Since November 1921. ब्रैकेट्स डाला करके, वायलेंस एट द रेट प्रिंस ऑफ वेल्स विजिट नवंबर 1921. वायलेंस एट द रेट प्रिंस ऑफ वेल्स विजिट नवंबर 1921. वेल्स पहली बार सुन रहे हो क्या? एज अ टीचर एक्चुअली आपकी एक्सपेक्टेशन थोड़ी सी अलग हो जाती है. आपने पूरा सुना दिया ऐसा, प्रिंस ऑफ वेल्स आया, स्टूडेंट्स भी पूछ रहे हैं सर वेल्स क्या था, टीचर भी बता रहा है भाई इंग्लैंड का पार्ट है, प्रिंसेस डायना, ऐसा ऐसा टीचर. फिर देखो धक्का कब लगता है, सर प्रिंस ऑफ, दैट्स व्हाई ओनली आफ्टर मल्टीपल रिविजन्स memory can be improved, only after multiple revisions, है ना ऐसा. अभी एक स्टूडेंट sent an email that sir I am studying for past 1 year, I am depressed, I feel like crying, right, I am not able to recall anything. Obviously this preparation requires more than 1 year. किसी ने कोई यूपीएससी ने कोई आपको प्रॉमिस करके दे रखा है कि our syllabus is this much that it will be get created in 1 year. You are victims of structure. But sir, in first class I studied only for 1 year, in second also, in third also, in fourth also, in fifth also, in sixth also, in seventh also, in eighth also, in ninth also. तो आपके दिमाग भरा पड़ा है that in 1 year syllabus UPSC 1 year. और उस हिसाब से सारी मार्केट चल रही है. Everyone is starting batches with promise that in 1 year syllabus will be complete. Focus is not, because it is a market. Market forces will decide, right? So therefore there is a demand, customer, he is demanding, student अब customer बन गया है ना. Demand is 1 year, so supply also 1 year. अब उसमें चाहे से अब फिर चाहे कहते हैं मतलब syllabus is not completed in a justified manner. Syllabus is not created in completed in justified manner, right? But student client is satisfied 1 year. For example, I am going to take 35, 36 classes, है ना. Your other coaching institute, अरे हमारे में तो 15 में हो गया, तुम्हारे में 36 लग रही है. अरे भाई 36 लगी तो यहाँ पे फालतू टाइम वेस्ट थोड़ी हो रहा है. If 36 classes are taking place, तो I am teaching you ना for 36 classes. For those additional 10 classes, I am not doing this. कोई पार्टी चल रही है यहाँ पे, कोई कुछ पढ़ाई रहे होंगे, कुछ होगा ऐसा which is being taught for the 11 classes, है ना. Client is like अपना 15 in 15 classes. That coaching institute is good. In 15 classes it completes. कोई आ जाएगा कि you complete something in 4 classes. Modern history in my batch, in my coaching institute, modern history complete in 4 classes. एक और आ गया, अरे in my coaching institute in 1 class they completed modern history. एक और आया, in my coaching institute no class took place of modern history. है ना, ha 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 ha, right? This kind of scenario it is there, right? Anyways, so, violence at the rate visit of Prince of Wales November 1921 led to no CDM at all India level, led to no CDM at all India level, and only in Bardoli. Led to no CDM at all India level, and only in Bardoli, and only in Bardoli, brackets closed, and only in Bardoli, brackets closed, only in Bardoli, brackets closed, है ना. तो ऐसा linkage हो गया. So why CDM was to take place in Bardoli? Because of that, right? So therefore preparations were done, right? Right now, in form of, comma, in form of, continue the sentence, comma, in form of CW, comma, in form of CW, constructive work, in form of CW,
अच्छा सच्ची सच्ची बताओ, झूठ नहीं बोलेगा तो पक्का बताएगा सच्ची सच्ची, यू विल टेल मी ऑनेस्टली. Whenever I say CW, what comes to your mind? Class work, है ना? HW homework, CW class work, आता near. In my mind it always comes. Then I have told the students CW is constructive. Right, CW class work. Anyways, constructive work. Right, बस हाँ उसमें CW में गांधी जी क्लास चलती थी, ये अलग बात है. Right, in form of CW with focus on. अच्छा अब बात देखिए, in CW what is your thing? In CW you are doing this work, it is like preparation, right? So you engage in apolitical activity, but that apolitical activity is going to benefit your political activity. Why? Because you are focusing on lifting the morale of the people. They are coming in and through their confidence. अब उसके लिए you will be doing XYZ things, skill development, spirituality पे focus, right? Plus you are also going to focus on, for example, if Hindus and Muslims are there, then we are going to focus on Hindu-Muslim unity, so that whenever I start the movement, Hindus and Muslims, they are both united and they come together for me. If my community is, let's say, women and men, then I'm going to work for women empowerment also. So women and men, when I give a call, they come together and they participate in the movement. If my community is upper caste and lower caste, then I'll be working on anti-untouchability, which I have also adopted in 1920 Nagpur session as a formal goal, anti-untouchability campaign. So here in Bardoli, upper caste were there, lower caste were there. Upper caste they were called Ujali Paraj, lower caste they were called Kali Paraj. Kali is something like darkness, Kala, darkness. ठीक है ऐसा, सो ऐसा डेरिवेटिव टर्म था काली पराज, उजाली पराज, अपर कास्ट, काली पराज, राइट. सो देयरफॉर एज पार्ट ऑफ द preparation for the CDM phase, during the constructive work, lot of efforts were made by the INC people to bridge the gap between upper caste and lower caste, and anti-untouchability work was being done. Bhajan, Kirtan, with such messages, speeches with such messages which try to bring the upper caste and the lower caste together and which criticize the untouchability. Such kind of work was being done. Why I am doing this work? So that when tomorrow the CDM is done, then upper caste and lower caste, they hold their hands together and they are doing CDM. Community unity is going to help me in the movement. Otherwise, what will happen? We are, let's say, from lower caste and we march together to do a dharna on that particular side, and we see upper caste have already reached. Then we'll be like, chodo yaar, we'll come tomorrow. You know, tomorrow will come half an hour earlier. Why? Because we are not united. So see, the movement is suffering. Movement तो अच्छी कब होगी when more and more numbers are there, है ना? So apolitical activity. Just now we have revised the constructive work. That what was the political use of constructive work, right? Unity वाला काम है, right? So in form of CW with focus on unity between. In form of CW with focus on unity between. Ujali Paraj / upper castes. Ujali Paraj / upper castes and Kali Paraj / lower castes and Kali Paraj / lower castes. Plus focus on anti-untouchability, comma anti-liquor campaign. Focus on anti-untouchability, comma anti-liquor campaign, comma anti-liquor campaign, comma anti-liquor campaign. Right? Why you are doing this? But उसके बाद क्या हुआ? चौरी चौरा. So चौरी चौरा took place. So this work was done, but not utilized. Bardoli resolution said no CDM at all. We are suspending the CDM and we are withdrawing the movement, non-cooperation movement. But हम ये सब क्यों बात कर रहे हैं? We are trying to say that one of the reason for success of Bardoli Satyagraha was lot of preparation was already done. So therefore, lot of work has already been done. So masses are already politically trained. Just that वहाँ पे issue था स्वराज. Now they are going to actually fight for not स्वराज but against the 30% increase in land revenue. But masses अच्छे से prepared हैं, right? So you prepared for UPSC, but Gandhi ji said no UPSC. Therefore, fine, you gave state PCs, right? So preparation was done for Swaraj, but actual exam that you will be giving with grievance of increase in land revenue of 30%, right? This kind of scenario it is taking place, है ना? So ऐसा. Write down events dash
Patel took leadership. Patel took leadership. Dash. Patel took leadership. Dash. Asked peasants to pay LR. Asked peasants to pay LR, but only at old rates. Asked peasants to pay LR, but only at old rates. Same angle is there. You're not saying don't pay LR at all. You're saying don't pay the unjust part. Pay the justified part, don't pay the unjust part. Right? So this is right. Otherwise, ratta maroge, if you will keep on rote learning, तो you'll get confused. You like अच्छा पता नहीं किसी में तो था पूरा नहीं पे करना, किसी में था कुछ पे पता नहीं क्या यार. But see, what is the angle? You oppose only the unjust part. The movement is not for Swaraj. Movement is clearly against the 30% increase in LR. So we don't have a problem in paying the old LR, but we are against paying the increased part, right? Plus, demanded independent tribunal. देखो MG ideology, arbitration, demanded independent tribunal to reveal the truth है ना? Demanded independent tribunal. Demanded independent tribunal. Plus, raised awareness via Bardoli Patrika. Via Bardoli Patrika. And what do I come to know from this? I come to know that Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel is not a moderate, but Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel is writing articles in Bardoli Patrika. Oh, that means extremist is equal to moderate plus. Extremist is equal to moderate plus. Something more than a moderate. Extremist does not mean you negate everything which is a moderate method. No, you still write articles, you still write editorials, but after writing the editorial in the morning, in the daytime after lunch, you are going to be on the streets. So extremist is equal to moderate plus. Via Bardoli Patrika plus organized peasants including women, organized peasants including women into छावनीज. छावनीज है वेरी सिमिलर टू वो था ना वहाँ पे वॉलंटियर कॉप्स है ना, ऐसा एनसीसी टाइप, बेसिकली यूनिट्स, राइट. ही इज अ ग्रेट ऑर्गेनाइजर, राइट. ही बिलीव्स इन ऑर्गेनाइज्ड स्ट्रगल, सो ही इज ऑर्गेनाइजिंग द पेजेंट्स इनटू छावनीज. अब इनको कुछ काम दिया जाएगा, यू विल बी ऑर्गेनाइज्ड इनटू सम ग्रुप. In the Borsad Satyagraha, you are asked to climb up the tree. Here, what you will be asked? You will be asked to implement the no tax campaign. So you are going to roam around, right? ऐसा हाँ भाई, you have not paid tax ना? है? How much tax did you pay? Show me the document. हाँ, good. You pay only the old tax, not the new tax. Good. This kind of scenario, right? They are going to implement. Just in case इसको बोला हाँ भाई, how much tax you have paid? Show us the document. इधर सब आज, come here. There's those छावनी members, come here. पकड़ो इसको, and take out from his pocket what? Tax document. In the tax document it is written this man has given the tax at full rate. Then what we will do? We are Gandhians, we cannot beat him up. Right? But what we are going to do? Social boycott. Right? So announcement will be made with his photograph. No one will cut his hair. No one will invite him to any marriage, any social function. Hukka pani band. Right? No one should be seen with him. Otherwise their social boycott will also be done. And no one will give his daughter to him. Right? Samajik bahiskar. Right? This kind of social boycott. Right? So clearly it was told that those who will pay. Why will you pay? You're like, I have money. I don't want to lose my property to the British. If I don't pay tax, the government will come, it will seize my lands. It may even auction my lands. I don't want to lose my lands. So therefore I am going to pay tax, I have money. So therefore for such people who had money and who had the fear of losing the lands, उनको threat दिया गया social boycott का. Right? So that is why. Right? So write down. plus organized peasants including women into chhavnis which implemented no tax campaign, 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 and social boycott of non-supporters, and social boycott of non-supporters, and social boycott of non-supporters. Next point, simultaneously, MG raised issue, simultaneously MG raised issue in Young India and Navjeevan. ये महात्मा गांधी के न्यूज़पेपर थे, इन यंग इंडिया एंड नवजीवन, इन यंग इंडिया एंड नवजीवन, रेज इशू इन यंग इंडिया एंड नवजीवन. Full stop. Then in 1928, PLA members resigned. Provincial Legislative Assembly set up by the Government of India Act of 1919. PLA members resigned. PLA members resigned, and then MG reached Bardoli, and then MG reached Bardoli, and then MG reached Bardoli, MG reached Bardoli. राइट में स्टाइल आगे लिखिए, गंगनम स्टाइल. गंगनम गाना ही सुना तूने, गंगनम स्टाइल. So this is Mahatma Gandhi style. This is Mahatma Gandhi style to increase pressure. So Mahatma Gandhi कैसे करते हैं? He will make you sit in a sauna bath, right? And he will lock the door, and then he will have that temperature knob in his hands. He'll increase the temperature 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Then some voices will come from inside. Right? Because of temperature. Right? ऐसा. Mahatma Gandhi believes in increasing the tempo. Right? He believes in increasing tempo gradually. ऐसा. Mahatma Gandhi ऐसे walk करते हैं धीरे-धीरे, फिर तेज-तेज walk कर रहे हैं, फिर एकदम भागना start कर देंगे. Right? So therefore ऐसा. Right? So ऐसा tempo. So फटा poster निकला है also big people, they do not enter. अब ऐसा थोड़ी होता है, for example some big minister is coming to your area, right, and he is coming and no one is there. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होता. Right? When he comes, he expects that there should be 100 people, 200 people, 300 people, 500 people waiting for him, 1000 people, 2000 people waiting for him. Right? So therefore, big person does not come immediately. पहले जो छोटे नेता होते हैं, smaller netas, they are sent that you माहौल बनाओ, माहौल. So therefore, preparation will be done for 1 week. Right? So therefore, you will be told that big neta is going to come, hoardings, etc. etc. Right? तो ऐसा सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल पहले माहौल बना रहे. ठीक, ये PLA members by resigning माहौल बना रहे, increasing temperature, increasing tempo, and then फटा पोस्टर निकला हीरो. Then Mahatma Gandhi reaches Bardoli. Not immediately. He comes, when the right, you use, it is political tactics. You use your trump card. You use your trump card when the situation is right. ठीक है, जब लोहा गर्म हो तभी हथौड़ा मारना है. ठीक है, महात्मा गांधी पहले दिन पहुंच जाए, अभी क्या चल रहा है? महात्मा गांधी चाय पे कुछ होगा ही नहीं. Nothing will happen. Tempo increase हो रहा है. Right? So this is the MG style. Gradually increase the tempo of the movement. Gradually increase the tempo of the movement, and then, or you increase the pressure of the movement gradually. ठीक है, कैसे? राइट मिस्टर लगाल को एग्जाम्पल आप पहले पढ़ चुके हो. ऐसा कैसे? फर्स्ट फेज इज इक्वल टू NC for 1 year, and second phase is equal to CDM if Swaraj not in 1 year. If Swaraj not in 1 year. Civil disobedience is much stronger. Civil disobedience is 35 degrees Celsius. Non-cooperation is only 25 degrees Celsius or 28 degrees Celsius. So see, Mahatma Gandhi believes in increasing the temperature on the opponent gradually. For 1 year, we will do non-cooperation, and then we are going to do this. Right? So therefore, this element, it is there. It is MG style, in gradually increasing the tempo of the movement. Right? ऐसा. Next point. Finally under pressure. British set up independent tribunal. Finally under pressure. British set up independent tribunal. That decided, so truth will be revealed. कौन सा truth reveal होगा वो भी बताऊंगा. That decided 6.03% increase. That decided 6.03% increase in LR. That decided 6.03% increase in LR as against 30%. 6.03% increase in LR as against 30%. As against 30%. You tell me which truth will be revealed in this tribunal. सोचो which truth will be revealed? Unjust increase in LR. माने कि LR should not be that high. On what basis? आपको क्या लगता है सरकार कैसे काम करती होगी? Very good. So basically when does the government increase land revenue? Government will increase land revenue when government feels that incomes of the peasants have increased a lot. But my income should also increase, although it is in percentage terms, so my income will also increase. But I want my income to increase in percentage terms also. I am feeling a sense of deprivation. I am government. GDP is rising 20%, 30%. Imagine GDP rises 20%. The government will be like, I'll increase income tax. मेरे share कहाँ है? Where is my share? State would want its share. So government, what will be the truth? What will be the submissions by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel? Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel will be submitting documents that see, this was our production last year, this is our production, our income has not increased that much that you are demanding 30% LR. Yes, my income has increased, I agree. But what is the justified increase in LR percentage? 6.03% or 5%. Government said no, 6% or 7%. Negotiation says 6.03% aake fit hua. Documents will be seen that whose income would have increased how much. This is a truth which is, what is the truth? That in reality, how much increase in income of the peasant took place? Was it so high that 30% LR is increase is justified? Or was it this high that something else is justified? ऐसा. This is the truth which is revealed. तो हमेशा सोच के पढ़ना है. This is how you should think. अभी कोई पूछने नहीं वाला आपसे एग्जाम में. But ये अगर रट्टा ना बने, if it is not रट्टा, तो why पे फोकस करेंगे तो we'll understand that okay, this is the truth which is being revealed. क्या truth reveal होगा, है ना? तो ऐसा. तो anyways, next point. Also, women and peasant of Bardoli. Also, women and peasant of Bardoli gave title of Sardar to Patel. Also, women and peasants of Bardoli gave title of Sardar to Patel. So Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was not a Sardar. He was not a Sikh. है ना? आप में से कितने लोग ऐसे सोचते हैं सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल सरदार है? तुम ऐसे सोचते? तुम भी ऐसे? Sing is king. Why the name of the movie was? Why the name of the song was Sing is king, Sing is king, Sing is king? Because जो सरदार है, सरदार it means मराठा सरदार. तो तुम्हें लगता है तुम्हें तो मराठा सरदार सारे सरदार थे? ये सोचा ना? यही सोचा अभी तक तो ये सोचा मराठा सरदार सरदार. सरदार means like leader. सरदार meaning of the word सरदार is leader. है ना? Leader. है ना? ऐसा. तो ऐसा ठीक है. सो सरदार, ठीक है. सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल सरदार नहीं थे, ठीक है. ऐसा है. तो तुम ऐसे ही सोचते हो कि बाल नहीं थे उनके तो इसलिए फिर पग नहीं पहनते थे. नहीं नहीं ऐसा नहीं, ठीक है. तो गिव टाइटल ऑफ सरदार टू पटेल. प्लस एमजी गेव डिग्निटी एंड प्लस एमजी गेव डिग्निटी प्लस एमजी गेव डिग्निटी by naming Kali Paraj as Rani Paraj. Kali Paraj as Rani Paraj. As Rani Paraj. That meant people of forests. That meant people of forests. That meant people of forests. इसको लिखो, जल्दी लिखो। So wherever tribals, see tribals, many of the times they do not merge, but why? Many of the times there is a boundary between forest and people of the plains, and many of the times interaction used to take place between the, even in the pre-British era, between the people of the plains and the tribals who are living in forests. At times ऐसा interaction हुआ that tribals they adopted Hinduism, and when tribals they adopted Hinduism, so within Hinduism you have to be allotted some caste, so they were allotted lower caste. Right? So therefore they were originally people of forest who had intermingled with the people of the plains, and they were given the title Kaliparaj, lower castes. So Mahatma Gandhi is bringing them dignity back by renaming them as Rani Paraj, that means people of the forests. Right? So why? Because where tribals merged with society of plains and adopted Hinduism, they were given status of lower caste. And tribals कहाँ रहते हैं? They रहते हैं in hills or they रहते हैं in forests. They are in hills or they are in forests. So people of forests. So people of forest, when they merged into the Hindu society of the plains, they were called Kali Paraj. Mahatma Gandhi is giving them their dignity back by calling them Rani Paraj. That is people of forests, right? Rather than darkness, brightness, right? Next, write down. Next heading. Passive phase. Passive phase of INC. Passive phase of INC 1922-27. 1922-27. नहीं, in that particular area, in that Bardoli area, you were calling the lower caste as Rani Paraj, ठीक, मतलब Kali Paraj. So passive phase. So what is this passive phase? So first subpoint write down. First subpoint. Lack of political activity by INC. Lack of political activity by INC. Lack of political activity by INC. After NCM. After NCM. After NCM. After NCM. That is no movement. That is no movement by INC. कुछ तो पॉलिटिकल एक्टिविटी होगा, हमने लैक कहा है, जीरो नहीं कहा. दैट इज नो मूवमेंट बाय आईएनसी. दैट इज नो मूवमेंट बाय आईएनसी फ्रॉम 1922-27. फ्रॉम 1922-27. From 1922-27. Concept is very, very simple, right? But usually those who have studied history, at times they get confused, right? So basically simple point is what has happened. You have, the Congress has said that there will not be any movement. They have withdrawn the non-cooperation movement after Chauri Chaura. So now we are INC members. Online students are, let's say, Gandhians, and offline students are, let's say, non-Gandhians or who are relatively senior, right? As a, and online students are young followers of Mahatma Gandhi, like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Rajendra Prasad, Jawaharlal Nehru, right? These kind of people, right? It is there. So now we are sitting and we are like talking, ab kya kare? What should we do? Right? So at this particular point of time, those who are no changers, online students who are pro Gandhiji, they came to be known as no changers. Abhi likhne ki zarurat nahi hai. I'll make you write down no changers. Right? What did these no changers they say? Question क्या था? अब क्या करें? What we should do now? No changes. They said that see, movement has been withdrawn, but non-cooperation as a principle, it exists. Right? It exists, and INC should continue. INC is not going to the people, but INC at its own level can do non-cooperation by boycotting the elections and by not becoming members of the council. So council boycott INC should continue. Plus, INC should do constructive work among the people, train them in non-violent satyagrah to prevent repeat of चोरी चोरा लेक incident, right? ऐसा वो ट्रेनिंग हो जैसे मैंने आपको बताया था ब्लड प्रेशर का मशीन के साथ, है ना? तो let us train the people in non-violent satyagrah, and whenever we feel that the people are decently trained, then What was suspended? Suspension is not removal from service. When you hear a phrase, police 22 policemen, 10 policemen suspended. Right? Abhi recently Anjali case hua, whereby some policemen are being suspended. Suspended does not mean removal from service. It is only mean temporary out of service. है ना? So what was suspended after Chauri Chora? CDM. And what was ended after Chauri Chora? Movement. मैंने आपको गोला भी मरवाया था शायद से movement के ऊपर. Right? So look at the name. No changers. No change. No changer person will say, let what is there to continue as it is. And what do they say? They say INC should continue to do boycott of councils. That means INC should continue to do non-cooperation with respect to councils. Hence proved that non-cooperation movement ended in 1922. Movement is where when leaders they go to the people and there is a movement. Non-cooperation did not end in 1922. Why? If non-cooperation had ended in 1922, then these people's name would not have been no change. No change means jo hai, continue it. Don't change. And what they are saying? Continue to do council boycott. Continue to do council boycott. And do constructive work. And whenever you feel that the time is right, then relaunch the CDM. What was suspended temporarily? CDM was suspended. So when the time is right, तो बहाली होगी, नौकरी आप वापस ज्वाइन करेंगे. So start the CDM whenever you feel the time is right. Right? तो ऐसा. That's why their name is no changes. Why? Because they are saying continue to do what you were doing earlier. And what is that? Movement has been ended, non-cooperation has not been ended. So INC at its own level can do non-cooperation. And what is non-cooperation? Boycott. And INC is a political party. What it can boycott? It can boycott elections. है ना? ऐसा. This is the thing. Right. Then the online students, they are called pro-changers. They want a change. And what is the change they want? Let us stop boycotting the councils. Let us fight elections. Let us fight elections. Let us stop boycotting the councils. Let us enter into the councils as member of the PLAs and members of the CLA. Right? An adjournment motion has been brought by the Britishers in the Government of India Act 1919. And therefore, let us oppose the Britishers on the floor of the House. We will tell the Britishers, either you amend the Government of India Act 1919 immediately, because we are not satisfied with the Government of India Act 1919, or we are going to do adjournment after adjournment after adjournment after adjournment. And the books, they call this what? Either we will end the councils or we will mend the councils. Ending the councils how? Adjournment after adjournment after adjournment after adjournment. That means councils, they are not functioning. Mend the councils kaise? Force the Britishers to amend the Government of India Act 1919. So either we will force the Britishers, या तो अंग्रेज नया एक्ट लेके आ जाए, या फिर हम काउंसिल को चलने नहीं देंगे. Either the Britishers they bring a new act, or will not allow the councils to function. Technically, this is called end the councils or mend the council. End or mend council resolution. Right. So this is a proposal. This is a proposal. Right. What was the arguments on the side of the offline student, that is pro changers? They said कि भाई newspapers from tomorrow will be empty. Till now news was coming that Mahatma Gandhi is going to travel to this part, protest took place in this part, lathi charge on this part. Newspapers were filled with some political news. How to fill the newspapers now? Why to fill the newspaper? Otherwise the people will feel कि रातों रात INC पता नहीं कहाँ चलेगी. People will feel that till yesterday so much amount of movement, this plan, Swaraj in 1 year, after that CDM etc. And now suddenly INC has evaporated. So we will be able to tell the people that we have not evaporated, we are doing something against the British, but now we are doing it in the councils. Why? Because the movement turned violent. So therefore newspaper mein report will be there that Mr. MLA gave this speech, that adjournment motion was passed, that councils are not functioning, pressure on the Britishers to reform the Government of India Act 1919. ऐसा कुछ तो छपेगा, some political activity will take place. Second thing they said that movement is now no more there. That means INC is not contacting the people on day-to-day basis for any movement. So what will happen? Election will take place. INC will not participate. People will go and vote. When the movement was on, then very low participation was there in the elections of 1920. Why? Because movement was on. अभी INC से तो जाए नहीं, कोई कार्यकर्ता तो जा ही नहीं रहा. No कार्यकर्ता is going to the common man to convince them that you will not vote. Okay, you will not vote. Movement has been withdrawn, so no one is contacting the common man. So common man will go and he will go and vote. Right? He will go and vote. And as a result, what will happen? The Britishers, they will be able to claim INC is not a leader of the people anymore. INC was boycotting elections, but see, such good voting took place. That means INC is not the leader of people. INC was boycotting the elections, but see, so many people voted. INC ऐसे फालतू में, INC is just a microscopic minority. This will be the claim of the Britishers. The Britishers, they will say that INC is not a leader of the people. Otherwise, leader ने कहा था boycott elections, but the people they went and voted. So moderates, मतलब कि आपके जो pro changes हैं, they are saying this will be loss of face for the INC. इज्जत लुट जाएगी हमारी. Right? Plus what will happen? Non-INC forces, माने कि non-INC political parties, they will win elections. And Nagarik is there. They will become minister at the province level. And INC will have Junjuna in the hath, doing constructive work. Right? So we should enter the councils. Right? ये सब फायदे रहेंगे. These are the positives. Right? No changes. What are they are saying? No changes are saying no. Once you become a MLA or once you become a minister, then political corruption takes place. What is political corruption? We'll come and meet you that we need to do some anti-British activity or we need to do some constructive work. What will be your response? We're like, see, right now I'm busy. I'm preparing a speech for the legislature tomorrow. Or I'm studying a bill which the Britishers have brought. Sorry, I'll talk to you later. Right? You will be busy in what? This is not political corruption, this is political work. Political corruption, now you'll be busy in whether I'll be getting a house as a MP, or whether I'll be getting as a car as a MP, whether I'll be getting as some nokar chakar as an MP, or as a minister at the province level. So this, you will be busy in that. You are enjoying in your AC, and some people are coming and saying that start of the night, like talk later. Enjoy life. As politician, enjoy life. When you are enjoying life, revolutionary zeal goes. Revolutionary zeal is when sweat is traveling, when dust is there on the face. Then you feel, then you look at yourself in the mirror, right? And you feel कि और तुम्हारे बाल ऐसे हो रखे हैं ऐसे, है ना? And then you feel, you get a reassurance that I am working very hard. Why am I working so hard? Let's say यहाँ से some blood is coming out, right? This hand is paining. Why? Because some lathi was used by the police. That pain makes you feel that you are a revolutionary. That you have took this lathi, सीखना सूझ गया, but कोई लोगों के लिए स्वराज के लिए है. You feel a revolutionary zeal when you're there in your AC chambers, enjoying the life, having good breakfast, etc., etc. Your revolutionary zeal is not there. So no changes say that entering the councils will end the revolutionary zeal of the INC leaders. Right? In fact, they are like working with the government. Because legislature is there, तो करके ये सब मत करो, political corruption हो जाएगा, revolutionary zeal will be gone. Right? ऐसा. मुझे पता है क्या लगती है, क्या reality थी. मतलब reality तो ये भी थी, ये सब reality ही है, fiction नहीं है. But everyone is selfish. Most of the Gandhian followers, they were young leaders. If INC had fought elections, उनको टिकट नहीं मिलता. If you join some political party today, you will not be getting a ticket right away. So what will be your opinion? To fight elections or to do constructive work? You will say do constructive work. क्योंकि वहाँ कोई तो पूछ रहा था. Why? Because if you look at the profile of pro changers, all are very senior netas, senior to Mahatma Gandhi also. They are Lala Lajpat Rai. They are C.R. Das. They are Motilal Nehru. They are veterans of INC. They were there in INC before Mahatma Gandhi. Right? ऐसा. तो उनको तो टिकट मिलेगा ही. They will fight elections, they will win elections. महात्मा गांधी के फॉलोअर्स हैं यंग लीडर्स, उनको हो सकता है टिकट ही नहीं मिलता. तो वो तो कहेंगे दे विल से कंस्ट्रक्टिव वर्क ओनली. ऐसा है ना लॉजिक, मतलब ऐसा पॉलिटिकल लॉजिक से अगर सोचा जाए तो दिस कैन बी. अब ये एग्जाम में जगह नहीं लिख देना, ठीक है, बट लाइन ऑफ पॉलिटिकल लॉजिक ऐसा ऐसा. एंड दीज पीपल दे हैव वर्कड सो हार्ड in their life and finally they are getting a chance to become minister. These are the very same people who tell the Mahatma Gandhi, don't start this non-cooperation movement. Right now it is not the right time. Bhai Tilak ho gaye, CR Das had to be convinced. Tilak to rahe nahi, he died in August 1920. These senior leaders, they were not in the favor of non-cooperation movement. They have been proven right by the withdrawal of the non-cooperation movement. ये बात तो these people they were saying in 1920 also. CR Das etc. They were saying this same thing in 1920 also. कि let us enter the council, let us not start non-cooperation movement. They are saying the same thing now. ऐसा वो तो तब भी कह रहे थे ना, CR Das ने oppose किया था ना, तो ये बात इनका stand constant है. In 1920 before NCM also they said let us enter into the councils. Now when the non-cooperation movement has been withdrawn, तब भी ये लोग यही कह रहे हैं that let us enter into the councils. They are saying the same thing, that let us enter into the councils. So this is their end or mend council resolution, right? But voting will take place now, right? So these people they will bring end or mend council resolution in 1922 Gaya session, right? This resolution will fail. More number of votes will be in favor of Mahatma Gandhi's view that we should not. Mahatma Gandhi believes in stateless society. So when Mahatma Gandhi believes in stateless society, will he want anyone to become MP? If he agrees, it will be a compromise from the side of Mahatma Gandhi ideology perspective, sir. Right? So why would we want, because legislature is part of the state, right? Anyways, so therefore, end or mend council resolution fails. These people, therefore, they resign not from the INC, they resign from the official post of the INC. Let's say you were secretary, you were general secretary, you were treasurer, right? So you resign from those posts, but you stay part of INC. Within INC, you form a party called Congress Khilafat Swaraj Party. The name is Congress Khilafat. Why? Because Khilafat movement तो अभी भी चल रही है. Khilafat movement का टाइम पीरियड क्या है? 1920-24. Plus they entered into a coalition with the Muslim League that will fight elections in coalition. So that's why Congress Khilafat Swaraj Party. And that's why these people are also called Swarajists, because name of the party is Congress Khilafat Swaraj Party. These people are also called Swarajists. Pro-changers are also called Swarajists. These people, they do their council work now. Elections take place in 1923. They are able to enter into the councils. They do council work. No changes. They continue doing constructive work. Right? ऐसा रहता है. So right now, Swarajists or pro-changers. Swarajists or pro-changers. Swarajists or pro-changers. Like CR Das, Motilal Nehru. Like CR Das, Motilal Nehru. LL Rai, MM Malviya, CR Das, Motilal Nehru, LL Rai, Lala Lajpat Rai, MM Malviya, Madan Mohan Malviya, MM Malviya, proposed, dash, end or mend councils resolution. Proposed end or mend council resolution. Proposed end or mend councils resolution. At Gaya session 1922. At Gaya session 1922. That is boycott of councils. That is boycott of councils should stop. That is boycott of councils should stop. Boycott of councils should stop. And INC should fight. And INC should fight 1923 elections. And INC should fight 1923 elections. 1923 elections to CLA. 1923 elections to CLA. 1923 elections to CLA. Right? Next point written positives. Positives या फिर arguments. Arguments dash. Fill political void, will fill political void, will fill political void, will fill political void after NCM, will fill political void after NCM. VOID, खालीपन. after NCM, plus fill empty newspapers, plus fill empty newspapers, plus fill empty newspapers with propaganda in councils, with propaganda in councils, with propaganda in councils, with propaganda in councils, plus force British, plus force British to bring constitutional reforms, plus force British to bring constitutional reforms, that is mend the councils, that is mend the councils, or don't allow councils to function, or don't allow councils to function. That is end the councils, that is end the councils, that is end the councils. Bracket स्टार लगा लिखिए GOI 1919 adjournment motion power. ब्रैकेट में स्टार लगा लिखिए GOI 1919 adjournment motion power, ब्रैकेट क्लोज. adjournment motion power. adjournment कितनों को नहीं पता adjournment क्या होता है? Raise your hands. Who does not know what is adjournment? Adjournment means that you are basically not allowing the house to function. So you are all MLAs, you come here, and as soon as I, the speaker, starts proposing that, okay, let us discuss this bill, you start shouting slogans, right? And someone among you proposes a motion that let the house be ended for today. All of you vote yes, 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 yes. And therefore, as a speaker, I say, okay, Tata, bye bye, we'll meet tomorrow. Next day also you come and you again say, we are bringing an adjournment motion. All of you vote yes, 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 yes. As a speaker, I again have to say, okay, Tata, bye bye, we'll meet tomorrow. So therefore, the councils, they are not functioning because of adjournment motion. So this power was given, adjournment motion power लेके आने की जो ताकत है दी गई थी in the Government of India Act 1919. So this is how you can end the councils, because Government of India Act 1919 gave you the power to end the councils, gave you the power to repeatedly use adjournment motions. है ना? तो ऐसा GOI 1919 adjournment motion brackets close. Plus if INC plus if INC नहीं आप हाँ ठीक है काट दो इसको. Plus if people vote then loss of face. If people vote, then loss of face for INC. If people vote, then loss of face for INC. Plus non-INC parties will enter councils. Non-INC parties will enter councils if INC does not fight elections. Non-INC parties will enter councils if INC does not fight elections. If INC does not fight elections. ठीक. Next independent paragraph point. No changers were Gandhians. No changers were Gandhians. No changers were Gandhians. Like Patel, Nehru, Rajendra Prasad. Like Patel, Nehru, Rajendra Prasad. Patel, Nehru, Rajendra Prasad. C. Raja Gopalachari. C. Raja Gopalachari. C. Raja Gopalachari. C. Raja Gopalachari. Dash supported continuation of council boycott, supported continuation of council boycott, and CW, constructive work, because dash council entry will lead to neglect of CW. Council entry will lead to neglect of CW. Council entry will lead to neglect of CW. Important for preventing another chori chora. Council entry will lead to neglect of CW, important for preventing another chori chora. Because in constructive work, you do the training for non-violent satyagraha. So you are busy in the council, so we'll do the constructive work. Aisa. Plus lead to loss of revolutionary zeal. Lead to loss of revolutionary zeal. ZEAL. Lead to loss of revolutionary zeal. Plus will lead to political corruption. Full stop. Therefore, continue CW. And NC, continue CW and NC by boycotting councils, and wait for relaunch of CDM. Continue CW and boycotting councils and wait for relaunch of CDM. That was suspended in 1922. Wait for relaunch of CDM that was suspended in 1922. Via Bardoli Resolution 1922. Wait for relaunch of CDM that was suspended via Bardoli Resolution of 1922. ठीक. Next independent paragraph point. End or amend council resolution failed. Council's resolution failed. Therefore, end or amend council resolution failed. Therefore, pro changers resigned from official posts of INC. Pro changers resigned from official posts of INC. In brackets ताला के not INC. Brackets close. ये पता है ब्रैकेट में ताला कैसे काम आएगा? What if in the prelims they ask you that they resigned from INC? ऐसा ऑप्शन दे दिया आपको. Many students they will answer yes. Many students. And वहाँ पे फिर ये ब्रैकेट में ताला के will come to 8. They are resigning only from the official post like treasurer, secretary, ऐसा. Right? So ऐसा. ठीक है? So plus formed Congress Khilafat Swaraj Party. Within INC. Formed Congress Khilafat Swaraj Party within INC. That fought 1923 elections to CLA. 1923 elections to CLA. ठीक. Next independent paragraph point. MG prevented a split. MG prevented
Surat-like split. MG prevented Surat-like split. MG prevented Surat-like split. As first subpoint. MG is equal to commonly respected leader. MG is equal to commonly respected leader. MG is equal to commonly respected leader by no changers, pro changers. Commonly respected leader of भी लिख सकते हो, commonly respected leader of no changers and pro changers. No changers and pro changers. Plus MG maintained deep respect. MG maintained deep respect and did not question nationalism. MG maintained deep respect and did not question nationalism of Swarajists. Did not question nationalism of Swarajists. Plus praised good work. Praised good work in councils. Plus praised good work in councils. Example. Swarajists demanded a new constitution. Example. Swarajists demanded new constitution. Swarajists demanded new constitution. In first session of CLA itself. In first session of CLA itself. Plus MG took pro Swarajist stand. MG took pro Swarajist stand. MG took pro Swarajist stand. Despite disagreement. When British repressed Swarajists in Bengal. When British repressed Swarajists in Bengal. कौन था Swarajist in Bengal? C.R. Das. Swarajists in Bengal, due to their links with revolutionaries. Due to their links with revolutionaries. Example. Revolutionaries campaigned in elections. Example, revolutionaries campaigned in elections for C.R. Das. Example, revolutionaries campaigned in elections for C.R. Das. So Britishers ने कहा that they have a link. So Britishers, they try to play divide and rule. Right? They try to play divide and, like after the Surat split, they had repressed the extremists. Now they are trying to repress the Swarajists. Right? But Mahatma Gandhi ne kaha, I will not allow your divide and rule to continue. So despite me disagreeing with them, I am on their side. So therefore Mahatma Gandhi supported, like बापू तो हमारे बापू उनके बापू थोड़ी हो, right? But you like supporting them. Mahatma Gandhi says, I am much more intelligent than these Britishers. They want to play divide and rule. They think that I will not come to the aid of INC, will not come to the aid of these Swarajists, right? Because they are in minority now. They are on the back foot now. No, we are going to be with them. So despite disagreement with them, I am with them. I'll support them, right? So therefore, this is how Mahatma Gandhi prevented a split in the INC, right? Next slide on positives of no changers. Positives of no changers. Positives of no changers. Dash.
CW gave work to party cadre. CW gave work to party cadre. CW gave work to party cadre. In passive phase. In passive phase. CW gave work to party cadre in passive phase. In passive phase. अब जैसे भारत जोड़ो यात्रा वो भी एक CW चल रहा है एक तरीके से, तो एटलीस्ट सम वर्क इज देयर टू द पार्टी गार्डर है, अदरवाइज बहुत टाइम हो गया गवर्नमेंट में तो है नहीं, है ना, तो क्या करें, वर्क इज बीइंग गिवन, ठीक है, वो तो बहुत अच्छी बात है दैट इन इंडिया सेंट्रल इलेक्शंस एंड स्टेट इलेक्शंस दे आर हैपनिंग सेपरेटली. Imagine how much amount of unemployment will be there if Modi ji's idea of one nation, one election. Election will take place in 2-3 months. फिर ये युवा नेता क्या करेगा for the next 9 months? So much amount. अभी कितना कुछ कुछ इलेक्शन होता रहता है, ठीक है. You are from Haryana. If you are in any political party which is fighting elections in Gujarat, you will be given work. Some money, go to Gujarat, go to Kerala, go to Karnataka, go to North East. Engagement है, कुछ बिजी चल रहा है, काम चल रहा है, घर पे कह सकते हो काम चल रहा है, काम में बिजी हूं, अभी मैं गुजरात जा रहा हूं, अभी मैं केरला जा रहा हूं, now I am going to Karnataka, now I am going to North East. If one nation, one election, then what? Then for the next 9 months, next 5 years, sorry, 5 years. For the next 5 years, what you will do? Huge amount of unemployment will take place. फिर पता चले यात्रा कर करके बहुत वेट लॉस हो जाएगा तुम्हारे पास. यात्रा इज काइंड ऑफ लाइक कंस्ट्रक्टिव वर्क, इट इज गिविंग वर्क टू द पार्टी गार्डर फॉर द आईएनसी, यू नो, ऐसा मूवमेंट चल रहा है. व्हाई? बिकॉज इलेक्शन तो हो नहीं रहा अभी, तो क्या करें, फ्री टाइम में वर्क मिल रहा है पार्टी गार्डर को, ठीक है, ऐसा. अब द पार्टी इन पावर कैन ऑल्सो डू दिस. Party in power can also do this, but it will not be like something anti-government, obviously, because you are the party in power, but it can be some other kind of social campaign, right? So constructive work can be done by the opposition, like for example Congress is doing. Constructive work can also be done by the party in power, right? But usually the party when it is in power, so फिर तो वो constructive work वैसी करा रही होती है, कैसे, अरे यार काम करा दो हमारा, वो कंस्ट्रक्टिव वर्क नहीं, वो दूसरा कंस्ट्रक्टिव वर्क करा रही होती है ना, काम करवाया जाता ना लोगों का फॉर द नेक्स्ट 4 years, कि हाँ भाई वोट दिया था तुम्हें, हमारा ये काम है, हमारी जमीन का केस अटका हुआ है, सम कोर्ट केस इज गोइंग ऑन, सम लोन केस इज गोइंग ऑन, सम दिस गोइंग ऑन, दैट गोइंग ऑन. सो जो पार्टी विच इज इन पावर वो दूसरे काम करा रही होती है, लोगों के मदद करा रही होती है. भाई इलेक्शंस इन इंडिया फालतू का आइडियलिज्म है, इट इज टोटली गिव एंड टेक between the voters and the person who is getting elected. Totally give and take है, totally give and take. You are like my land case is there, if I get you 200 votes help करेगा बाद में, give and take है. रियलिटी में तो गिव एंड टेक ही है, रियलिटी मतलब जमीनी हकीकत तो गिव एंड टेक है. तभी तो टीवी वगैरह मिलके अगर टीवी देगा वोट दूंगा. कॉमन मैन ऑफ इंडिया इज नॉट स्टूपिड है दैट तुम तो बैठ जाओ, यू विल बिकम एमपी, यू विल बिकम एमएलए, यू विल बिकम मिनिस्टर, है देन व्हाट. अभी तो टीवी देता है, टीवी तो देखे जा, ठीक है, टीवी तो दे कुछ तो देगा वोट ले रहा है कुछ तो देगा. दिस काइंड इट गिव एंड टेक, इट इज रियलिटी. वो तो इन द इंटेलेक्चुअल सेक्शन, इन पीपल लाइक यू हु आर वाचिंग एंड पीपल लाइक यू, ठीक है, वेयर यू नो who are intelligent in the sense that common man is also obviously very intelligent, but he is more intelligent than you actually, but fine, ठीक है, you are scholarly intelligent. उसने तो अपना टीवी निकाल लिया. ठीक है, तुम क्या कहते फिलोसफी पे वोट डाल रहे हो, ठीक है, वो मिडिल क्लास का काम है, ठीक है ना, ऐसा. तो वर्क टू द पार्टी कार्डर, ऐसा, राइट. सो इट गेव वर्क टू पार्टी कार्डर. CW gave work to party कार्डर in passive phase plus increased caste unity, plus rural urban unity, increased caste unity plus rural urban unity, increased caste unity plus rural urban unity, plus increased membership of INC, plus increased membership of INC, plus increased membership of INC. When INC will do constructive work among you guys, so INC leader will tell you, why don't you become member of INC? It is only 4 आना fee, since 1920 Nagpur session, it is only 4 आना fee. Why don't you become member of INC? You're like, I can become a member. Huh, you can become a member. So therefore, you see, as INC will contact more and more and more people during constructive work, INC will have more and more members. So therefore, INC as a party is going to become more and more party of a masses. हाँ जी, हाँ जी, उस समय बोल सकते हैं, but constructive work will not be. It is constructive work is like it is subdued activity. It is subdued activity. Subdued activity in the sense that it happens in a calm manner. किसी दिन आपने यहाँ कैंप लगा लिया, ठीक है. It is like life एक थम सी जाती है. It is not very aggressive kind of life, right? So constructive work, it will not be at a massive scale. It is like, you know, you are at different place. That's all. Plus boosted nationalism, boosted nationalism, boosted nationalism. कैसे कंस्ट्रक्टिव और नेशनलिज्म कैसे इंक्रीज करता था? स्पिरिचुअलिटी से चलो कल्चरल नेशनलिज्म इंक्रीज होगा. एक तो नेशनल एजुकेशन भूल गए, स्वदेशी एजुकेशन. बूस्टेड नेशनलिज्म ड्यू टू स्वदेशी एजुकेशन. स्वदेशी माने नेशनल एजुकेशन. बूस्टेड नेशनलिज्म ड्यू टू स्वदेशी एजुकेशन. एंड ऑब्वियसली स्पिरिचुअलिटी वाला एलिमेंट तो रह गए, आत्मशक्ति वाला एलिमेंट. Due to Swadeshi education. Full stop. MG set up his base. MG set up his base. MG set up his base at Sabarmati Ashram 1917. MG set up his base at Sabarmati Ashram 1917. After release from jail in 1924. After release from jail in 1924. After release from jail in 1924. Full stop. He made Charkha famous. He made Charkha famous. 1924. हाँ तो साबरमती आश्रम 1917 तो क्या हुआ? साबरमती आश्रम 1917 क्या हुआ? औरंगजेब 5807, साबरमती आश्रम 1917. माने कि indirectly I have told you Sabarmati Ashram was set up by Mahatma Gandhi in the year 1917. So therefore, if you are hearing the word Sabarmati Ashram for the first time, hear it Sabarmati Ashram 1917. वही तो उसका पूरा नाम है. That is our philosophy we are following in the first class. नहीं, Sabarmati Ashram 1917 माने simply Sabarmati Ashram set up his base in Sabarmati Ashram after release from jail in 1924. Sabarmati Ashram he had set up in 1917, right? And once he was released from jail in 1924, फिर वो Sabarmati Ashram में जाके बैठ गए. ठीक है, set up his base in Sabarmati Ashram after release from jail in 1924. Set up his base in Sabarmati Ashram after release from jail in 1924. Sabarmati Ashram 1917 में बना था, मतलब एस्टैब्लिश तब हुआ था. फुल स्टॉप. Here he made चरखा famous as symbol of स्वदेशी. Here he made चरखा famous as symbol of स्वदेशी. As symbol of स्वदेशी. As symbol of स्वदेशी. Next independent paragraph point. Announcement of Simon Commission. Announcements of Simon Commission. 1927. Announcement of Simon Commission 1927. Announcement of Simon Commission 1927. Ended the passive phase. Ended the passive phase. Ended the passive phase. Ended the passive phase. ठीक. So passive phase माने now anti-Simon Commission protest will take place, right? So first in the next class we are going to discuss about revolutionaries, right? So therefore revolutionaries they had participated in the non-cooperation movement, but after कुछ और लिखवाऊंगा नहीं, बंद कर लो. Revolutionaries they had participated in the non-cooperation movement, but with the withdrawal of non-cooperation movement after Chauri Chaura, they were deeply disappointed. हाँ हाँ, they were deeply disappointed, revolutionaries, that some small violence took place and then you have withdrawn the movement. So therefore they will lose faith in Mahatma Gandhi. Now what do? They are given two options by INC. One option is of fighting elections. Revolutionaries are like, bhai, we are not politicians. We are not politicians who fight elections. हम तो गन चलाते हैं, ठीक? So they are not attracted towards elections, obviously. Second option being given by ANC is constructive work. Constructive work पढ़ने में इतना बोरिंग लग रहा, करने में कितना बोरिंग होता होगा. Constructive work is boring to read. Imagine how boring it will be to do. है ना? So books they write, constructive work was boring for them. They are like Bhagat Singh type लोग, ठाए है. Constructive work, NGO like activity, है ना, training in सत्याग्रह, हाँ उसमें तो मजा आता. वो जो होता है ना कि ऐसा बांध के, मतलब वो ट्रेनिंग इन नॉन वायलेंस, तो वो तो मजा आता. वो तो मतलब आई वुड हैव एंजॉयड वाचिंग. Watching, I would have enjoyed. But otherwise, it is boring, constructive work, you know. So therefore, they said we are not neither interested in constructive work nor we are this, election people. So they reverted back to revolutionary activity. That is, we will make supreme sacrifice for our country, and with our sacrifice, the people, they will get some kind of zeal. Plus, ideologically, they also got attracted to Communist Party. Why? Because communism, it is all about poor. ठीक है, आज फायदा हो गया, चलो उसका कोई नहीं. Communism, it is all about poor, है ना. चलो कुछ काम आ गया आज, right? And Indian masses, they are poor. So communism, socialism, they are naturally applicable to Indian masses because Indian nation is poor. Mostly तो poor ही है. 95% people they are poor. 90% at that point of time. So communism talks about welfare of the poor. So this idea will be very attractive to a nationalist revolutionary. This idea that, right? Second, armed struggle. What is the method of violence? What is the method of communists? Violence. Violence is the method of the communists. They're like, ये तो मेरे वाला. They're like, I'm familiar with this. I know, communist, I can teach you something. Right? Violence. Right? कि क्या गांधी जी, hey, ये अच्छा, this is nice. Right? Armed struggle. Right? So they get attracted. कह रहे हैं कि यहाँ पे कोई गांधी जी के चौंचले भी नहीं कि यहाँ तप्पड़ खाओ वहाँ तप्पड़ खाओ, ठीक है, ऐसा अपन सनी देओल टाइप, वी आर लाइक सनी देओल, है ना, ऑफ गदर मूवी, ऐसा. Right? So he is fine. Armed struggle, very good. Communist, I love you. Armed struggle, ऐसा feeling आएगा. Plus communists, they talk about the poor. Right, so obviously we are working for the masses, so they get attracted towards communism. So that's why Bhagat Singh was a Marxist. Bhagat Singh was a communist. Right? So ऐसा. Right? So this is attractive for them. This kind of scenario. So in the next class we'll discuss about Bhagat Singh, we'll discuss about Chandrasekhar Azad, we'll talk about Lahore conspiracy case, we'll talk about bomb in CLA. Right? We'll talk about the, what you call as your Chittagong armory raid. Khele Hum Ji Jaan Se, there is a movie. As a homework, you can watch it today. ठीक है, tonight जाके देख लो. दीपिका पादुकोण है उसमें. खेले हम जी जान से, खेले हम जी जान से. अभिषेक बच्चन एंड दीपिका पादुकोण. It is made on Chittagong armory raid. वैसे एक और मूवी है, I don't remember its name, but that is also made on Chittagong armory raid. Chittagong, it is there. Maybe the name is Chittagong only. हाँ, it is in East. It is in Bangladesh today. Chittagong, right? तो ऐसा. So देखो, मतलब गांधी जी के साथ बहुत गलत किया. मतलब गांधी जी ने कहा, गांधी जी से पूछा कभी किसी ने, मतलब एलिजेडली, ऐसा जो आजकल ऐसा कुछ कंटेंट आता रहता है, प्रो नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस वाला कंटेंट आता रहता है, मैं पढ़ता रहता हूँ. ठीक, तो उसमें अभी गांधी जी एट वन पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम ही सेड, ही कॉल्ड, समवन वाज सेइंग इट, आई डोंट नो ही कॉल्ड इट और नॉट. ठीक है, so I was watching some video, ठीक है, maybe true maybe not, but someone who was like more pro नेताजी ऐसा करके बोले, that he called Surya Sen, who was the leader of the Chittagong army raid, Gunda. Why did he call Gunda? Why did he call Gunda? Because आप देखो कैसे जला रहे हैं महात्मा गांधी को. ये 1930 to 1934 सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट, which is based on non-violence. And what is the time period of Chittagong Army Raid? 1930 to 1933. So एक जगह आर्म्ड स्ट्रगल चल रहा है, ग्रुप आर्म्ड स्ट्रगल, और एक जगह सिविल डिसोबीडियंस मूवमेंट चल रही है. अब कोई पूछेगा महात्मा गांधी से क्या कहना है आपका इनके बारे में, तो महात्मा गांधी कहेंगे गुंडे गुंडे. वो टोटली ऑपोजिट ना, एक तो आर्म्ड स्ट्रगल, एक वो नॉन वायलेंस, है ना. तो रेवोल्यूशनरी चिढ़ा रहे थे महात्मा गांधी को कि विड्रॉ करोगे नॉन कॉपरेशन मूवमेंट. ये देखो ऐसा हम सोच सकते हैं, दिस काइंड ऑफ सिनेरियो इट इज देयर. बट अल्टीमेटली सूर्य सेन, अच्छा एक फोटो भी है बिफोर सूर्य सेन स्टार्ट्स द मूवमेंट. देयर इज अ फोटो व्हिच आई हैव सीन. उसमें एक मीटिंग से दे आर गेटिंग आउट, एंड यू नो हु इज गेटिंग आउट? नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस विद सूर्य सेन, है ना, बिफोर दी मीटिंग. तो देखो नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस वाज वेरी इरिटेटिंग फॉर महात्मा गांधी, वेरी इरिटेटिंग फॉर महात्मा गांधी, ऐसा. ठीक है, तो ये है. सो इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास वी विल डिस्कस ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स, प्लस वी विल डिस्कस साइमन कमीशन, एंटी साइमन कमीशन प्रोटेस्ट.